Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been several weeks since my last live stream. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's well. All these people in the chat already. 60 viewers waiting, 28 likes. Wow, I don't normally schedule stuff, so... Can everyone hear me? Everyone hear me all right? Everything all right? Please tell me you can hear me. Come on, chat. Can people hear me? How is everyone? Hope all is going well. Can people hear me all right? Good stuff. Pleased to hear it. Hello, everybody. I haven't streamed for a few weeks. Oh, was it my birthday was the last time I streamed? I think it was, wasn't it? Hello, everyone. Hello, Hank, Neil B, Maverick 2496, Coronium. I was going mad now. I can't even keep up. Stephen, Connor, Fractured 23, UTB, Farmaneer, Jake Productions, brilliant stuff. Thomas, Adrian Binstead, hello Adrian. Lewis, oh, there's loads of people, it's awesome. How cool is that? 95 concurrent viewers, 38 likes. There seems to be a discrepancy there. Hello everybody, Piggy in the middle, I love that one. Welcome to the MrSealyp Massive. Absolutely. Well, you know what? I probably should have done some prep for this, shouldn't I? I probably should have, you know, done some. Considering I'm looking at seasons, we're going to look at seasons, everyone. And I thought, you know what? We'll live stream it because it makes more sense to live stream it. That's what we'll do. Let's go full screen. There we go for a few minutes anyway. Hello, everybody. Smash that like button. 139 concurrent viewers and 50 likes. Smash it. Today feels like a hat day. Oh, that's a good point. Actually, saying that. Look. My, you know, I told that story. Did I tell that story? When I was in FarmCon, on the way home at Munich Airport, I lost my MrSealyp baseball cap. Lost it, so I had to get a new one. And it arrived, so I'm very happy that's here. Available in the merch store if you're interested in some merch. YouTube replug stuff. Argsy, hello man, how are you? Thanks, mate. Take care. Sleep well. Sorry, I know it's finding that time in it that fits everybody. Really, it's always a tricky one. You know, I have done a little. So I say a little bit of prep. Oh man, it's definitely a hat day. Look, that's not good. Anyway, thank you, Pete. Oh wow, straight off the bat. Look at that. Oh, let's go back to that. Thank you, Pete. You're an absolute star. I've been talking to my daughter's boyfriend about the various different things I need to be doing and when I'm streaming and things like that, and there's the thing you can get that will actually do a message that comes up and says the person's message and that kind of stuff, which, you know, I'm working towards that kind of stuff. Once I've been streaming a little bit more, we'll kind of go into there. So what I'm going to do, I think we'll pop the chat out. I mean, obviously that means nothing to you guys necessarily, but for me it makes my life a little bit easier. We'll put that there, then I haven't got to keep looking too far over at the chat. Let's move that to there, that's awesome. Do that to that. Like I say, again, this is this means nothing to you. I'm just making sure everything's working all right. And then we might get some other stuff in here as well later on, or we will get some stuff in here later on. Let's move that a little bit. And there we go. So I'm just doing some tweaking to make sure everything's running all right. What we got? Hello from Ireland. Hello from, does that say Portalington, Victoria, Australia? Wow! Darlington, Texas. We've got people from all over again. It's awesome. Awamutu, New Zealand. That's so cool. Thanks, Nigel. Realistic Farmer, Ben T, Neil Beresford. How is everybody? I hope everyone's well. It's very cool. I love it. I'm loving it. So today, like I said, what are we going to be looking at? I wanted to look at seasons. Now, this is going to come down to you guys in the chat as well. How do you want to go about doing this? I was going to we'll look at 17, 19, 22, the changes between all of them, and then talk about 25, because we don't know much about it, and we can talk about what people want to see, what people think it's going to be like, you know, because we haven't seen much about seasons. There's been a little bit of information, but not a huge amount. So I thought we could do that. So I didn't know whether to do 22 first, because it's kind of what we're all playing on and we know that, or would it make sense to just go chronologically? I think chronologically, but I don't know what everyone feels. Hello from, oh blimey, look at it, it's going mad. Awesome stuff. Keep smashing that like button, people. Just bought the collector's edition. Awesome. I'll do my YouTube thing. If you are going to pre-order, if you want to use the partner code MrSealyp, again, it only works on PC Digital, I think it is, but there are a couple of links in the description. You should be able to follow those, and that would really help massively. That would be absolutely awesome. I would appreciate that. 4,452 hours on the 22. I think most people are up there. It was interesting. Someone posted, was it Giants posted a thing the other week, showcasing a particular YouTuber, saying about their passion for the game because they had X amount of views, X amount of hours. And I thought, I'm pretty sure most people are at that, if not more. It's just, you know, if you're passionate about it, there you go. Well, I'll do 17 first. It was on 17 as well, and it's weird, isn't it, how your brain works? Well, actually, it's just jump on there. So let's go 17 first. I've been doing my Drumline farm already, and some people have been watching, some people haven't. Absolutely fine. You don't have to watch it. I forgot Seasons was on 17. I thought the first time on console we had Seasons was 19, but it's not. It wasn't, which surprised me somewhat. Yeah, threw me a little bit. Let's turn that on, and boom. Right, we're on. Sounds like a plan. I mean, whichever plan. I mean, we'll just go with it. Like I say, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Wow. Chris S. Hello, Crofter, Craig Bowers. Loads of people in the chat. I've got to be very careful. Did I finish my thought? You know, I keep doing these things where I talk about stuff and then finish my thought, or don't finish my thought more often than not. That my brother had messaged or put a message in one of the chats when we did our live stream. And I didn't realise. I read the message out and didn't realise it was him that had messaged. And I was like, oh, that'd be a brilliant idea. That'd be, you know, it was about going to Colchester for a walk and talk. And I said, oh, that'd be awesome. And then when I was streaming the other day, he popped into the chat. I suppose we could see today if we can do the MrSealyp bingo again. Nina's in the chat. Hello, Nina. Real Oaks, Still Poet. Awesome. David Van Mol. CNSTR. Is that Cornstar Online? Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to look at. What was better? I don't know. I mean, I think it got better from 17 to 19. Like I said, I don't remember 17. And I had a very interesting conversation at FarmCon with Jos Rakin, who is one of the Realismus Modding guys, along with Wopster and Seb, and I'm going to miss someone. Was it Mr. Bear? Was his online tag? Anyway, there are 4 or 5 of them. And Rakin came to talk to me at FarmCon, sat next to me having a chat, and was just saying, you know, how cool they thought it was when I did my review of the Seasons mod when it came out. And I was like, you know, absolutely my pleasure, mate. It was fantastic. I'm sitting there talking to Realismus Modding, and it's like, wow, absolutely cool. And he's thanking me for, you know, it's that usual thing. And he was a lead developer, programmer at Giants. He worked for Giants. So when they went from 19 to 22, and they were having it more in the base game, he helped them develop it and move it over into 22. And we had an interesting conversation about that, which we'll talk about later on when we look at the various iterations, but I just don't remember it being on 17. But anyway, it was. So hello Pharmacoos. Oh, it's awesome, all these people. Hello. I hope everyone's having a great day. We could do answers as a percentage if you want to at some point. You can put that in there. I'm feeling a little bit better today. Still, you know, there's, you know, I would say maybe 75 today. Don't know. Prefer season 22. You never played ever 17. Only know 19. Okay. Well, let's have a look. Hello from New Zealand. Ryan Clark. Australia. Thank you so much. Hope we get seasons from FS19 on 25. I'm going to say this. Thank you, Goggle Pop. always have to test the system. System test always completed by Goggle Pop. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Netherlands is the attention seeking. Is that what it is? So anyway, let's just have a quick look. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at them in the mods first, because I think if we go to others is where you'll find it. And we had geos as well, again, which I just don't remember. Not as many as 19. So this is, you know, again, looking at 17, the mods under miscellaneous, there's not a lot. And the seasons mod, I've probably gone past it already, was in here. Now, they won the modding competition, didn't they, with seasons? I'm sure they did. Anyway, so there's a whole load of reasons why it went the way it did and why it changed. I mean, from 17 to 19 was, just incredible. And you'll see that as we look at it. There we go. Seasons mod installed, and then you've got all these geos. And there are a few, not as many as 19. I haven't picked a geo. I haven't got one installed, but the point about the geos is, and I think what happens now is the map makers are including geos kind of in with the map build, so they will tweak the various different things pre-release of the map, so we don't have a separate geo to put on it, I think. Anyway, FS19, yeah, I mean, it was a banger. It's complicated, and that's the thing. And again, I'm going to put something up on the screen later on which will be very kind of, well, okay, because I know from a mod review perspective, it was absolutely crazy. So anyway, that's in there, so that's where you'll find it. But if we go to our career, I have taken the liberty of a Goldcrest Valley, because I was going to, this originally started, this whole idea, this weird random kind of yeah, doing the stream started off the back of the fact that I was going to do a video showing the changes between 17, 19, 22, and then talking about 25. I started recording, and on 17, going through the stuff on seasons, I think I was 40 minutes in recording and thought, I'm not going to get all three of these in and talk about 25 in a 60-minute video. That's just not possible. So that's when it kind of changed. So that's why we're on. Yeah, I mean, the geos, like I say, it's not even a simulator anymore. It's not an arcade game. It's definitely a simulator. But yeah, I say map makers are including them. Anyway, let's click on this. Let's get loading up. Don't need to worry about the mods. They should all be all right. Let's start and get going. So I've prepped some stuff already. What we're going to do, we'll look at the options and we'll look at the stuff available on 17. What we could do, couldn't do, that kind of thing. And then we'll move over and we'll look at the various iterations. I think when we get to 22, it's going to be interesting because there will be a lot of things that were on 19 that aren't on 22. Some things that have been implemented, I think possibly for the better. I don't know. It depends how you feel about that, of course. But this will load up momentarily. It should do. Hello, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hello, Pete. How are you? '17's. I've been enjoying playing, actually. Right. Let's start. So, Goldcrest Valley. Now, as you can see, menu, top right. If we get into the vehicle, we've got our menu at the bottom. I think I reduced them in size a little bit, not massively. But as far as our options go, I've got the options panel open top left. So, oh yeah, well, I mean, when I said about I should have prepped more, I mean, in so much as all I've done is set it up ready to do this. And what I was going to do was, because there'll be stuff I'll miss, of course there will. FS17, like I said, 3-year cycle of 22, 3-year cycle of 19, that's 6 years. And even if you looked at this at the end of 17, that's still 6 years ago. If you look at this sort of around in the 2-year cycle of 17, you're looking at 7, 8 years ago. So I'm going to miss stuff. So I've kind of jumped back in and I've kind of had a look, tried to familiarise myself a little bit. But I thought having the chat as well, people will say, oh yeah, this was this, this was that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the base game version of this, nothing changes. On Drumard, you go day after day after day after day, and obviously the scenery doesn't change. You don't get the winter, you don't get autumn, you don't get leaves falling off trees, all that kind of stuff. But top right, we've got our menu, and we've also got the weather forecast. Now, the weather forecast, we can add or remove that, which I'd forgotten we could do, because it's normally like that, and I couldn't remember how we got the weather forecast. So L1, R1, circle, weather forecast is up, which is great. L1 and seasons open. So if we open up our seasons menu, this is what the menu looked like on 17. So we've got our initial calendar, and the other thing I think that's missing on 22 that is on the 17 and 19 modded version is the ground temperature thing. The thing that, okay, fair enough, we're looking at the fact we've got spring, our summer, our autumn and our winter, which you don't have in the base game on 17. You've got your planting season, your harvesting season, which we're kind of used to on 22 now, which is great. But you've got those temperatures, the ground temperatures. And certain crop types require you to be at certain temperatures before they can be planted. So even if you are in the planting season, you have to be careful, because if you plant and the ground temperature is too cold, then you can get it doesn't germinate and your crops can fail, which I think I might have done on 19 as well. So that's missing on 22, and I like that feature. That's on 17 and 19, having that. I'm pointing again. I'm doing my thing where I'm pointing at the screen, but yeah, it is missing. I will say that. It has got a very nostalgic look to it. So we go across our menu then to the next one over, and we've got then our economy. And I like this menu style. I like that, and you can see where you are and what the prices are. Now, what I found as well was that the first year on both versions of it, you would go through expecting to earn that much, and you weren't, and it had to go through a full year cycle before it kind of balanced itself out and worked out where it needed to be. I think that's kind of how where it used to be. Is this a base game map? On 17, Goldcrest Valley was the map, wasn't it? Because we went from 15 to 17. On 17, what was it, 19? I've blanked. No, it was the base game, wasn't it? Sure it was. Anyway, yeah, so you scroll up and down and you've got all your various different prices for all your various different things. As you can see, silage remains constant, and that all fluctuates, and that was all very cool. But what was also interesting was, as far as your grass goes, you couldn't sell grass. You can't sell loose. We're going to have a look at the other menu as well in a moment as well, because there's the information panel menu, which is pretty cool. If we go across another one, and then you've got this one, your settings menu. So your introduction to each season, keys on in the help menu, whether you can change your temperature scale, Celsius or freedom height. So if you want to go freedom height, you can go freedom height. And then your season length as well. So again, you could set it 3 days minimum, but it was 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and back. So 24 days was the most. It was always suggested to set it on, was it 6 or 9? I think it was 9 days, and then turn your speed up to ×5, which gave you a more realistic feel for it. I never used to feel that very much, but I mean, that's just me personally. Snow mode, yes or no, you didn't have to have snow on, so you could turn it off. Snow tracks on or off, even if you had snow on, which was great. And then crop moisture, and crop moisture was a big part of it. Because even if everything was ready to harvest, if your crop was too wet, you couldn't harvest, so you had to wait for it to dry. Big feature. We don't have that on 22. I like that feature. That's a brilliant option, and we see so many real life farmers, a lot of the ones I follow, you'll see them out in the field with their moisture testers, and I think that's important. Freedom height, because in the UK we're generally Celsius, centigrade, we bounce between both, but in America it's mostly Fahrenheit, I think. I don't know, but again, it's probably generic across all of it, so it's always just been referred to as freedom height in our house. Anyway, and then we would go back to our main menu. So that's the main options for changing stuff on 17, which was great, and there's a lot there, which, you know, is kind of what you want. But some of the things that were different, and we'll go into this menu and scroll across. Where are we? Let's go to... So our animals look like this, and we only had sheep, pigs and cows. Chickens were fixed. Chickens, you went and collected eggs, you put them in your backpack, you took them and sold them. So you didn't have horses, and we didn't have an option for chickens per se, and this was the menu. But what was different was, rather than it being, I think it was 6 days, you could put your animal feed in, it would last 6 days. That changed to 3 days when you were on seasons, so that was a big change as well. Plus you required more stuff. You had to put all the various different items in for it to work properly, and they needed water because animals could then perish. You have to be careful, you know. In case Peter are watching or anything like that, people get kind of, you know. So it's a massive difference, yeah. From 15 to 17 was huge, and that's the thing. You look back and think 15 to 17 was massive, and 17 was the be-all and end-all. Then you go 17, 19, 19, 22. Look at 25 now. Look back on 17, and people say, "Oh, how can you play on that?" Well, we played on it because that was it. That was the thing. That was what we had, and it was the very latest, and it was very cool. So that was why. Oh yeah, you're right, Rich. Rich is saying pointing is okay, but how many people are doing the same thing when I miss collectibles and stuff? People are going, you know, yeah, probably, yeah. You've missed this. You've been, you know, it's very easily done, isn't it? Britain seems to do what they want. Do we? I don't know. I guess you can. I mean, we have metric, which is great, but we still use imperial. It's weird how it bounces backwards and forwards. A lot of times, people always give their waist measurements in inches. Not always. So you're a whatever inch waist, but then we're very metric. And then pints, litres. It's weird how we kind of just pick and choose how we go with it. Anyway, just got me a PC for FS25, leaving console. Oh, that's all right. People keep saying to me, when are you going to do it? We're going to get onto the Wopster in a moment. Well, the Wopster. But anyway, so that was the animals kind of side of things. If we go across to, what option do I want? I want this, right. So this screen, when you came on with Seasons and 17, was massively important. It was massively important because if you go across at the top menu, so we're on Farming Basics. If we go Advanced Knowledge, Animals, Forestry, Production Recap, Making Money, Shop, Miscellaneous, Sugarcane, and then Seasons. So this one was one that was added in, and this was what was really, really important. So, you needed this. And all that information. So it's a mod that improves realism in the farming simulator game by adjusting nearly all aspects of the game to more realistic parameters, which it did. The game was now broken up into seasons, which we had now before, and then broken into 3 parts: early, mid, and late. So there were the transitions within that season. So your activities are tied to what would really be happening in game in reality. So your seasonal effects, again, weather's random from day to day. You've got your weather forecast, which you can follow, which we kind of still do now. But hail, and it's interesting because it refers to hailstorms, and we've seen a lot on FS25 with a lot of the stuff that's been released over the last week and last few weeks with the hail, and now obviously we've got twister damage and hail damage on crops and stuff like that. You had the hail on here, but it occurs without warning, which it does in real life. Again, really nice feature, and I don't remember much about that. Snow will fill tippers and shovels and that kind of thing. So it was a big change indeed. Then you got seasonal effects. Daylight hours change. So in the winter you got shorter amounts of daylight, which was amazing. I'm well. Thank you very much for joining me. That's awesome. We're going to go through and have a look at all the various bits. I already have the platinum trophy, so I don't expect this version to be installed again. Okay. That's cool. It's interesting how many people actually go for the trophies. People kind of consider that to be a completion of the game. They'll go through, and once they've hit all the trophies, they're kind of done. I don't ever really go for trophies. I just play because I love playing. It's a new scary world. It is a bit of a new scary, I have to say, especially from my perspective. Like I keep saying, I'm an analog person in a digital world. I'm an old person. So as stuff keeps progressing, trying to keep up, especially if you're doing map tours, mod reviews, all that kind of stuff, and stuff gets more complicated and there's more added in and more added in. It's trying to keep up with it all and trying to make sure you're doing it again. Hello. Thank you for joining us. That's awesome. Keep smashing that like button. That would be absolutely awesome. That would really help. Helps everything, helps algorithms and things like that. And then the weather forecast. So move on to weather forecast, 7-day weather forecast, and it helps you to decide what you're going to do, potentially. But at the end of the day, it still happens. You can't really do a lot about it. Then we move on to our soil temperatures, and that was what I was talking about. And they were based on actual equations and historical data. Realismus Modding spent a long time getting this right. The soil cannot be worked when the ground is frozen. Crops will not grow in frozen soil, things like that. Crops will only germinate when the soil temperature is above the germination temperatures. And that's what I was saying. That's missing on 22, is having that icon, that number down the side that changes, so you know, okay, we're in the window, but we're also, the ground temperature's right for seed to germinate. Now we can get planting. I like that as an option. I really do. Right, so crops intro. Oh, that was the other thing, so I didn't really show it. But your crops all reset to harvested stage when you put seasons on. So regardless of what your map was like, it was always better to start a new game with seasons rather than be playing a game then decide to add seasons in, because it could cause chaos. So you just had to be kind of careful. Hello, Cher, how are you? Morgan, Wombleway, hello, how are you? Awesome, thanks for joining us. It's fantastic. Love it. FS Fan 73, cool. Hydra. Okay, mate. IKEA stuff to build. Take care, mate. Awesome. Farmer Joe. And then we got, then we go through the various different crops, which is great. Now, one of the things that changed from 17 to 19, and we're going to have a look at it again in a little while, was creating your hay. On 17, and I'm going to double check this. We're going to get some gameplay in a moment. Don't worry. I know people are like, well, what are we watching this for? Because all he's doing is talking. It's just to show you everything that was available, all the information that was available was pretty cool. But we could still make hay the way we do it on 22. So just cut your grass, ted it, you've got your hay. But it still said you've got the decay, which is talking about there. So the grass gets killed off in winter and it becomes cold. Bales will gradually rot and disappear after 2 days, no matter where they're placed. That's grass bales, I think. To prevent decay of other bales, you need to wrap them, and you need to place bales under cover. Swaths and piles of grass will reduce in size, so you had that degradation, and that's something we're kind of looking at maybe at 25 again. When we get to that, we'll talk about that later on. And straw and hay must be baled before it can be sold. Loose straw and hay cannot be sold or even given away free. Grass, baled or loose, cannot be sold either. So it was a big thing. Everything was changed on this. So then we had trees. Trees took longer to grow, 5 years fully, but you could harvest them after 2. So that was a big change. And obviously, trees would inhibit the growth of other trees if you had them planted them too close. Another big thing. Weather effects: rain, hail, snow, moisture levels. Again, that was all in there. Using a tedder on hay while crops are wet will produce wet grass. Only use a tedder when the crops are dry enough. So the rain had a big effect, and I think had more of an effect then, and this is 17, than it even does now. It's incredible, really. I'd rather not build IKEA furniture at all. Hello, Yoss, how are you? Classic gamer Jason Gutierrez, hello. Hello everyone. Edwin. Sorry if I'm missing people in the chat. I'm trying to, so we're going through. And then maintenance was the thing as well. So your tractors needed to be maintained every 30 hours or game year, depending on what you were playing and how long you'd done it. And all this stuff. And you can freeze all this stuff. You can watch it back later. You can have a look and say, okay. Garages could be placed. It was more expensive to repair the vehicle at the main shop than your own. And then the age of your vehicle and your days since your last repair. Tools and implements would be automatically repaired. Yeah, that was all fairly standard. Our economy, we kind of looked at that. Oh yeah, the cap on the loan changed, didn't it, as well? Which I'd forgotten about that. Wow. And hired help. Now this was an interesting one. Hired workers require overtime pay. If a hired worker is used before 6 AM and after 6 PM, or on the weekends, his or her pay was 50% higher. Now I'm not sure if that's a thing on 22, because I know when FS22 first released, the hired worker fees were ludicrously high. I mean, it was scary how expensive it was, and that got tweaked a little bit. But I don't think that's the thing on 22. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know different, let me know in the chat. I would love to know that. Which I thought was absolutely amazing. Then we got our animals, which is a bit different, and that was what I said. So the amount of food you fed them used to last 6 days. They changed that to 3. Animals would die if they didn't have enough food or water, but that could be disabled on easy difficulty, which is great. And it was also about the times of year that you got offspring. So on the standard version, depending on how many animals you had, the more animals you had, the quicker they would reproduce, but you'd get one animal at a time. But in this case, that changed all of that. So pigs would produce offspring in spring and in the autumn, sheep only in the spring, cows would be just in the summer. So it was more realistic. I loved that. Loved it. Matty Boy catching live for the first time. That's awesome. Love it. You got the F1 on as well. Cool. Right. Animals production. This was a girl again, not a girl. Milk and wool production was dependent upon the season. Wool was only produced in spring and summer. Milk all year round, but increased in the winter and spring. Again, I love that level of detail. That just wow. Season menu we've had a look at. HUD we've kind of had a look at. Now the measurement tool. That was important. The Wopster. M420, and this changed its name to the M9, I think it did, didn't it? And that allowed you to measure stuff. Now, obviously, in 22, we've got the field info, which is kind of a version. I think I preferred this. I think, what DLC was it to add more crops in FS22? That would be a PC thing. On console, you only get more crops if they're added in by the map maker. So, yeah, it would be a PC mod, I think. Anyway. Measurement tool, miscellaneous. I think we're done. Right, so I don't think I've got one. Right, so the tool itself then, where did we find that? Was that under miscellaneous? Or was it animals? It might be miscellaneous. Let's have a look. So the Wopster, there we go. The M420, 3,500 to buy. Let's get one, because I forgot to do that in my prep. Then we activate that. There we go. There's our Wopster, down bottom right. And you activate the tool to tell you, to give you information. Now on 22, we've got our hello Lee, I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope you're recovering well. Big thumbs up, speedy recovery, mate. So you press the button, it beeps, and then you get this screen come up. Now on 19, there was all the information about this. So you had your position, you had elevation, you had your crop type, it was the growth, how much growth it was. You then had, the next one down was the crop moisture, so you could only sort of harvest it if it was at the correct moisture below a certain amount. I think, was it 25% was the highest? I think it was. Then your fertilization state, and then the bottom one was ground wetness. Now that did say, and I don't know if it ever changed on PC, that was to do with will slip and slip, and it did say that obviously that would be something to do with, I mean, we never really got, obviously we're getting ground deformation now, but people were saying that would have been better as it kind of moved forward, but it didn't really change after that. But so that's what that does, and that would work on crops, it would work on vehicles. So again, the field info tool, no information. That's interesting. Maybe it was on 19 that it did vehicles. Oh yeah, maybe it was. How interesting. Let's try a tree. I'm curious to see. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. How do people feel about that? I like having the measurement tool. I think that's quite cool. I know with precision farming now we've got the, you know, when we do our soil sampling, which is a great feature. I love that. But I like this as a thing. It's all well and good having the there you go. So your fir tree, what growth site, where it's at, it's 100%, nothing around it, no problem at all. That's fully grown. The one next to it, let's have a look at that. The Wopster was a really brilliant bit of kit. Yeah, it's fully grown. Like that a lot. So let's turn that off. Let's have a look. So what I was going to do, oh yeah, animals, that was the thing. So let's go from there back to, let's look at the animals next while we're here. So we'll jump across. We got, oh yeah, we'll do the chickens first. So like I said, on 17, chickens were fixed. We didn't have the option to buy chickens. They were just here. So your chickens were always there. You always had them. And as you can see, as you go around, is that open? Really? I thought the gate's opened. Look, all of our eggs. So on 17, you just went and collect the eggs. Picked them up. Top left, you see +1, +1, +1. And they would go into your backpack. You would take them to an egg sell point and sell your eggs. Oh, look at that. Result. I discovered a gold nugget, people. How lucky. There's a lot of eggs in here. And to some degree, again, I liked this. It was very cool when we got egg boxes, then we got egg pallets, and that's all very cool. But there was something very interactive and visceral about going out and picking up the eggs out of the coops. I liked that, and I think having some integration of that, where you went and collect your eggs like this, but then when you come out of the coop, you could then put them on a pallet, I think would be a brilliant thing to have. Is that just me? Do you think that would be quite cool? I think it would. I like that as an option. I like going out and picking up the eggs. It makes you feel more connected to the chickens, you know, rather than just a pallet appearing. Anyway, so that was your chickens. So we go from there, and we'll go across into our sheep. If I click on that and then visit, jumps us straight over here. Lovely. So if we open our animal dialog box, and again, even though we had seasons, on 17, we didn't have different animals. We didn't have the option for different animals. It was still set. And the price for animals was quite expensive, as you can see. I think cows were the same, weren't they? So you just had sheep. And when you bought them and put them in there, they just appeared as sheep. But again, they did reproduce at different times of the year. Wool would only come at certain times of the year. That was important. It was a big thing. And then if we go from there and we go to our pigs, which are just there, we visit them. Open the dialog box again, 3,360. It was just a generic pig, but again, you had, you know, different breeding times, but that was it. I love the Seasons video on the UK Alien Gym map. Oh, on Sussex Farms. Yeah, so that's the one I remember doing. I don't remember if I did a mod review. Did I do a mod review on this? I don't remember. How are we looking on likes? Because I've got my thing minimised. How are our likes doing? If our likes hit 200, it feels like a hat day. I've already shown you my baseball cap. I've got one of my baseball. Oh, sorry. I've got a banjo here that I was going to learn to play and I haven't learned, but I don't want to play that. Anyway, I mentioned a while back when I did a stream my Indiana Jones hat that I've had years, and it's one of my favouriteest hats. I only use it for cosplaying and going to the shops. I don't. If we got there yet? Someone let me know in the chat if we hit 200 likes. If we hit 200 likes, I'll show you the hat. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's really cool. I often bounce between hats and woolly hats and the cow hat, and it's just a thing, isn't it? Why not? Oh, right. Now, it's interesting you should say that. FS Fan said, is it me or do the graphics on 17 look better than 22? I wouldn't say that they look better than 22. I honestly think they're better than 19. You'll see when we go and have a look at 19 in a minute. I've got the 19 settings. Now, again, I'll say this. When I played this originally on 17, I didn't have a 4K TV. I just had a normal TV. So when I played it, it was better graphics than 15. It was better, you know. Coming back on here and having the option in the option setting to set it to 4K made a massive difference. I mean, just incredible amount of difference. So potentially, actually, what I'm going to do very quickly, let's just expand that. Oh, we're at 206. We're already past that. We've gone past our 200 target. That's awesome. Let's minimise that down. Back to where we were. 205. That's cool. Oh, don't want TV turned off. So that was that, and then we have our cows, which, and again, the cows are the same. If we jump across the map to here and visit that, into our dialogue box, 5,649 for a cow. Oh, pricey. But again, they would only produce milk at certain times of the year, so the Seasons mod had a big impact. I mean, it had a massive impact. I did a series of different tutorial videos for the Seasons mod. It was complex. Was that on 19 or 17? I know I did on 19. 19 was just, I mean, incredible. So anyway, yeah, what we should be doing then? Let's I'll show you. Look, this is I love this. I love this so much. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it says on there. It says on the inside Indiana Jones. So it's a replica, and it's made by the same company that made the original hats. Oh, thank you, Pete. So you've seen some dodgy hats around Watford. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciated. That's very kind of you. But yeah, I love it. I just think that's a quality look, isn't it? Does that not look just? Oh, it's mint. Oh, my indie hat. I've got a cowboy hat as well, but I think this is not. People don't wear hats enough. I say every time we do live streams and stuff, people should wear hats more. You know, back in the day, the 40s and 50s, when hats were a thing, you know, a big thing. Do I keep this on the whole time? I love it. Spam that like button. What do people think? Come on, let me know. Do you like the hat? I love it. It's so cool. Anyway. Do I keep this on? Yeah, I'm going to keep it on for a bit. Why not? It's not quite a farmer's hat, but you know, we're getting there. Jim Carter, hello. So anyway, right. So that's the cows. So what I was going to do, let's jump back. Yeah, I think so. Junior. Sorry. That was a terrible Sean Connery impression, just absolutely awful. The graphics difference between 17 and 19... Well, no, that's the thing. On PlayStation, if I go on PS5, it doesn't give me the option to put my graphics on 4K. I'll show you when we switch over to 19, I'll show you. And it's really weird. I should wear that hat for all streams now. It fits perfect, honestly. I was very lucky. I went onto the website and they only had 2 or 3 different sizes. And when I was in Air Cadets and when I was an instructor and my beret and my peak cap for being a warrant officer, my head size was a 57 centimetre. And I think the only two sizes they had was like a 60 something, a 52, and I think there was a 58 or a 56. It was either side of what I know. So I thought I'll get it, and it's just absolutely, oh, love it. I look like a dodgy private investigator. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Anyway, I love it. It's so cool. I'm going to take it off, actually. I'm getting hot. Man got hot. Anyway, so what I was going to do was just do this very quickly before we move on to 19. It was nice that you just have a look, and also I love looking at the differences between the games, and seeing. Let's unfold that, and seeing how it all changed. Gonna need that in freedom units. I don't know what that is. What is 57 centimetres in inches? I'm sure if I had Alexa or something, I could look it up. Well, actually, not. I'm going to need to. Shameless plug again. Shameless plug, people. I need some water. Fancy going to Tahiti? What? Not sure about that. Let's drop those down. Then turn that on, drop that down. So as we mow, as you can see, on the 17 version, we could mow and we could ted, and we got our hay. So even though we have got a bit of crop moisture, it says ground moisture, that missed a little bit there, that's right. We're still getting it, it's still doing its thing, and it's absolutely fine. That is really, that's missing a lot. I'm surprised at that. Wasn't expecting that to miss as much, but anyway. There we go, that's better. That is missing some bits. I haven't put any crops in the ground. 21 inches is 57 centimetres. There we go. Can always rely on the chat to help you out in your time of need. In freedom inches. Right, so let's lift that. Turn that off. Lift that, turn that off. So as far as haymaking went, it was absolutely the same. It was no problem at all. It worked. I haven't got a windrower, but as far, and baling was the same. I've got a baler wrapper, but I don't think I'm going to get a full bale out of this. I should have got a windrow. Probably not, actually. But I love that. Look, top left, it says 30 engine hours or 11 days until maintenance is required. I love that. That is so cool. We're missing things like that on 22. Now, what I will say is, in the conversation I had with Jos Rakin at FarmCon, he said the conversion over from 19 to... oh no, come on. From 19 to 22, and he helped in that conversion over. Part of the remit from Giants was it had to be usable. It had to be usable by the masses. The thing about it being that prior to that, the version that we've got, that was, and I need to cut some more grass. This isn't going to work, is it? I'll do just some grass because I want to do a silage bale just to show you that. Let's do that. I should have got yeah, I didn't like I said, I did a little bit of prep, but I didn't think far enough ahead, and I haven't got enough grass really. That's the problem, because the grass hasn't fully grown because we're in mid-spring and we need to be in late spring. Well, that's the other thing to point out as well. If you haven't been watching my Drummard series, on this version on 17, your time scale, there was no half, and it didn't go up to 360. It went 5, 15, 30, 60, 120. That was it. You couldn't, and there was also no sleep triggers. If we go around to the house, there's no sleep trigger on 17. So to skip ahead in months, you just had to speed up time, and it took a while. It took quite a while. Let's start that up and move that out of the way. Does FS come with any age recommendation? No, anyone can play it. That's the beauty of it. You can jump in at any point. But anyway, as I was saying, so Rakin said they were hoping that, they were asking him to make something that was accessible to everybody. So if you on 17 and 19, if you use the Seasons mod, You could turn it on and off, you could apply it if you wanted to, but you weren't forced to. Like any mod, like any map, like any way of playing the game, you play it the way you want to play it. And if you chose to use the mod, it was up to you to learn how to use it and take as much time as you wanted over that and then utilise that mod. When Giants wanted to incorporate it into 22, because it was going to be a base game feature, part of the parameters were it had to be usable and accessible to anybody who played the game. They didn't want it too complicated. They didn't want too much in it. They didn't want it to be at a point where people couldn't access it, and they didn't want to turn people off the game. They didn't want people to buy the game, come on and go, well, this season's thing's ludicrous, I'm not playing it anymore. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't got the full-blown seasons that we see on 17 and 19 to 22. Now, is that going to come to 25? I don't know. I mean, you say that 7 years old, you have to be able to. You don't need to be able to understand anything really. If you set a map up, if you're playing and letting your kids play, and you want to, I don't know, help teach them about farming and where their food comes from. That's what I love about this. You know, I always said about using it in schools. It's a great way because kids, as far as they're concerned, they're playing a game. And if a child wants to come on and just drive a tractor, and you can set up a field and they want to harvest, they want to use a harvester, or they want to do some mowing, or they want to cut a tree down. Any age can do that. You know, it's up to you. I mean, like I say, it's up to anybody as a parent to decide what's right for their children. You know, I wouldn't say. I don't know. There is a different children's edition, as Neil B is saying. You've got the. I don't know how well that went down. Really, I don't think it went down as well as people thought it would. But there is a more child-friendly version for much younger children. But yeah, I don't know. It all comes down to you, and it also comes down to the child. I think it depends how the child views stuff. If a child has played computer games before, if they're, you know, yeah, there's a lot to sort of take in when you first start playing this. But kids pick stuff up so fast. I mean, they're just all over it. Anyway. Like I say, I probably should have got a windrower because I could have been windrowing at the same time now. Oh, you know what I should have done? Have I got it installed? Hang on. Have I got it installed? What was it under? Such a buffoon. Why did I not think? Should have just used that, shouldn't I? Anyway. The big M500. Ooh. Seriously. Right. Don't worry, I'm going to shift off this onto 19 in a moment. Yeah, that's a big thing as well, Raspberry Rabbit. I think it also comes down to not just accessibility, but also how many people use it. You know, Giants will implement stuff, and they're like I said, they're very good at looking around at the modding community, looking at what people are using, what are people enjoying, what gets the most downloads, and then when they bring out new versions of the game, they integrate things. They're very good. They're like the Borg. I've said that before. They assimilate from the mod hub what people like. So they're looking at things and saying, well, okay, this has been downloaded. A lot of people like this. They like this style of gameplay. How can we integrate that? But then again, if it's on the mods hub, people are deciding to download that. If they're going to put it in the base game, it still needs to be accessible. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they do. It's what they've always been doing, I suppose. Hope everyone is having a nice Sunday. I don't know. I'm this is about 2 or 3 people that have put in the chat that it's not everyone loves arcade. What's arcade about it? Giants do care about the realism of the game, and you can play as realistically as you want. I mean, yeah, there are still elements that I think, as far as coding goes, as far as implementing them into the game, and again, you've got to remember, they're making a game for a mass audience. They're making a game that has to cover everybody, from young children through to mature adults, men, women, children, all ages, all races, all types, from all over the world. And it needs to be accessible to everyone, whether you're PC, console, whatever it might be, that you need to jump on and you can play. But there are still parameters within the game that but you can, I don't know, you can play it any way you want. Of course you can. If you want to go hyper realistic, especially on PC, there are so many things available that allow you to go absolutely realistic. I don't think it's arcadey at all. I always find if you go and play the mobile versions, then you're getting a more arcadey kind of feel to it. Anyway, that's just my own personal opinion. If that's how you feel, I'm not saying you're wrong. Of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It just surprises me, And there's always things, like I said, when a new version comes out. I know when 22 came out, and everyone was doing their footage and putting up their live streams and showing off the new version of the game, and people were asking, has it got this? Has it got that? I wanted to see this. I wanted to see that. And like I've always said, there may be something very specific to you where you live, or the part of the world you live in, that you want to really, really see. Giants have to look at all these things and think, okay, that is cool, but it's very niche. Will it appeal to the masses? And that's what they do. I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Playing realistically is again, I've never not aspired to. I try to play more realistically in so much as how farming is kind of done. But I'm not. It's not a realism is key. It's not a dagger in. I don't play ultra realistically. I don't always play in cab. I don't. I use bonker stuff. I use mods. I use things that are a bit crazy here and there. I use things that wouldn't be used in the real world. But I think that's the beauty of it. It allows you to do whatever you want. Yes, you're right, Tony. You can't make it too complicated for older people, like what I is. Anyway. Hello, Robert. Thank you from Australia. Awesome. I'm so glad everybody's here. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so the only reason I was doing this bale was because I wanted to use the Wopster. If we do that, and it tells us that's grass at the moment. It is fermenting, and it's going to take 24 hours. 0.06% fermented. So, like I say, this was the early version of the field info screen, which you can turn on off. I personally prefer this, in all honesty, but that's just my own personal opinion. So we've had a look. We've had a look at some of the menus. And this is not. I'm not playing for hours and hours on FS17 with seasons on. I just wanted to come in and show you. Now what we're going to do is go from here. We're going to quit the game. I'm going to go to 19 and have a look at 19. So if I close that down, how are we looking? Views are looking great. How are our likes looking? Keep them lights coming, people. Come on. Awesome. You guys are legends. Absolute legends. Thank you so much. I say this a lot now. Let's jump on and I'll show you what I mean. Let's go into 19, and when it loads up, I'll show you the options I have anyway on PS5 for changing the screen settings, because it's weird. Yeah. Bye 17, on to 19 we go. 6 years ago this happened. I want to thank the Polish map makers for pleasing the entirety of Eastern Europe with Polish. I have to say, some of the better, not better. It's difficult to say. I love Polish maps. I like the way they're made and put together. There are so many of them. I played on Carpathian Countryside, which wasn't. It was kind of that region, Spakovo. There were so many. Wow, really incredible maps. I'm unfortunately, Adrian, I've kind of not preset a map, but in that I'm just jumping onto one I've kind of got ready already. There are so many maps. I could jump onto Shamrock Valley. There are so many you could go onto. What I have got still saved, bizarrely enough, and you'll see that in a moment, I've got 6 ashes still, which is incredible. But anyway, let's go down to my options and I'll show you what I mean. So my options here, I've got these. Under super sampling resolution, I've got full HD, which is 2K 1080, or quad HD, 3K 1440. I haven't got a 4K option. I'm on a 4K monitor, and everything else I play is 4K on here. But for some reason, hello Fezzik, how are you? Yuju, hello. Hello, everybody. You just joined the architect. Qualin, you've been in for a while, haven't you? But I haven't mentioned your name, sorry. Awesome. Anyway, yeah, so it doesn't give me the option. So I've got it on Quad HD 3K 1440, and you'll see when we go in, it's odd, I would say. Hello, Skinman 90. Sussex Farm was just quality, of course it was, absolutely. So if we go to career, No Man's Land, I mean, that was my No Man's Land is on here still saved, because that was my test map, that was my mod map. Any mod reviews were all done on there. Six Ashes I loved and played on, awesome. I've got Goldcrest Valley set up again because we were on Goldcrest Valley now. I think it will give us a starker impression of, obviously this is a modded version, because it wasn't in the base game on 19, but anyway. Hello, Dean from Illinois. Thank you for joining us. Godzilla from Niagara Falls. Awesome. I loved when I went to Niagara Falls. Wow. It was just so good. The Maid of the Mist and, just brilliant. Anyway, so let's click on this. Oh, that's what I meant to show you. Let's come back out. Let's go to the mods. So mods, I mean, and again, looking at the mod hubs and how the mod hubs were organised and set up was so different. But was it under gameplay? I think there we go. So gameplay was where all of the geos were for 19, and wow, were there a lot of them. So again, you could go through and you could pick a geo for pretty much anything. And what was different from 1922 is that map makers would often bring out their map, and then they would bring out a geo that matched their map. Like I said, with 22, what you find now is a map maker will bring out their map, and the geo is kind of already integrated into the map, so you kind of get it with it. Thank you, Anders. It's very kind of you. Anders, it's very kind of you. Partly sunny Germany. Actually, it's not too bad here today. It poured with rain the last couple of days. Really windy, not so great. And today, it's only about 19, 20 degrees. I say only. It's nice, it's pleasant. It's not too hot in here, which is great. Hope everyone's well. Tim from Dunedin. Oh, I love it. New Zealand. Thank you, man. All my Let's Plays are great. It's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Am I using the PS Plus subscription to play 1790 on PS5? I have it anyway to play online, so and I had them downloaded. So, DJ Goham's in the house. What up, my dude? Sorry, that's my worst DJ Goham impression, but you're welcome. Heyo! Thanks for joining us. Awesome. Ben Lambert, loads of people joining. Smash that like button, people. Keep it coming. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, tons and tons of geos, loads and loads of stuff, and that's what I was talking about. You know, the egg crates. I preferred being able to pick up eggs. I loved the egg crates and egg boxes and that kind of thing. That was cool. But I think being able to pick up an egg like we did on 17 and take it and put it onto a pallet or in a pallet would be brilliant, because it adds that level of immersion to tending chickens, looking after them, gathering the eggs yourself. I don't know. It was perfect. I'm glad you think so. I wasn't sure. So anyway, yeah, the Seasons mod. So we've got it installed. And what I'm going to show you now, actually before we move on, I think we still have some information in the menu. Let's go back to that. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go to Goldcrest, get that loading up. I think I've got Seasons on. Pretty sure I have. Let's get that loading. But what I'm going to show you, I'm going to switch over to this on here, and I'm going to, hopefully, if this works, go to my PC screen. Boom, there we go. Can you read that? It looks a bit blurry where I am. I don't think you can see that, can you? Anyway, so with Seasons 19, Realismus Modding had their website up and running, and you could go onto their website, and I've put the link in the description for this stream and video when it obviously comes up. So you can go on. Did you know it's MrSealyp before 25 was announced? Some said whether to affect the crops. We found out we get into it. Yeah. First thing people ask, can we turn it off? It's always the same. I think it's great to have the option to turn things on and off. So like the guy was saying earlier, if you want to go full immersion, full realism, but if you're going to say, like, I don't like the twister thing, I don't want that, then fair enough, you know. And it's not going to be on all maps. I think it's quite a specific thing to certain places in the US. I don't think we're going to get that on the Asian map. I wouldn't have thought. On Sri Lanka, I wouldn't have thought. Anyway, so as I was saying, on 19, they had their website, and you could come onto the website and you could click on Manuel, and then you could go through. And honestly, this was why when I did the mod reviews on 19, this was insane. I mean, absolutely insane, with warnings and the weather. I mean, it was very similar to the previous version, but what had changed was you had wind, you had drying, you had probability of drying, you had more animal types, you had growth for those animal types. I mean, you'll see when we go and have a look. You also had the water pump, which was added in, which I thought was a brilliant feature. You still had the handheld device, but it wasn't called the Wopster anymore. It was the something. I'm sure it was an M9, and it was something like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. No, you're absolutely right. Like I say, going out and, yeah, you wouldn't, as in the real world, if you're keeping chickens and you go out every day and you pick up the eggs, those chickens, put them into boxes. If you're running a small farm and you've got a little farm shop, farm store, and you pick up those eggs daily and you put them into egg boxes and you sell them at your farm store, that's great. If you're running a commercial egg production facility and you've got hundreds of thousands of chickens, you're not going to go and be collecting those eggs manually. Of course you're not. I mean, that's kind of part and parcel, I guess, but anyway. So anyway, so back to this. So all of this was just, I mean, there was so much information and you had to really, and this was the point Giants were making. It was so in-depth, so incredible, and if you wanted to go full immersion, it was all here. But you had to really dive into it. If you wanted to do Seasons 19, you had to really want to do it, because this wasn't really something you could dip your toe into, because it changed so much. I mean, absolutely massive amounts of stuff. The thing I was looking for was under... Oh, no, I had it before. Where did it go? Where was it? Crops? Because you had this as well. You had your seed resistance to drought and freezing, and I mean, woo! Let's say, well, I'm not playing the game. I'm not going to go through every single thing and show you, but this was about looking at it all. Where was that? Measuring. There we go. Measuring. So this was about the MT9, the measuring tool, which we've seen already, the Wopster on 17, so the version of it, and this gives you all that information I was talking about. So there you go. So all the different things that it will measure. Tree distance as well, there you go. The contents of bales and fermenting, we looked at on 17, and then this was the other thing we looked at. I hope, did I get it all right? Location, elevation, fruit type, crop height and growth process, crop moisture, it was right, yeah. Capped at 25%, which is fully moist. Moist. Fertilization level, and then ground wetness. Now this is what it said. The wetness of ground determines traction. In the future, this will also affect soil compaction. I don't know if it went on to do that. I don't think it was ever kind of updated to do that. I know, I agree with you. We were just looking at 17 before you came on, and 17 was more accessible for seasons, I think, but it still changed a lot. I think a blend of the two would be awesome, but I think when we went from 19 to 22, I think we lost too much of what made it great. I think we did get a watered down version, and again, we've talked about why. I would like to see some of those things come back. Anyway, so if we come back out of there, so this was, and like I say, the link is in the description. If you fancy a bit of light reading at bedtime, then jump on, have a look through, because it was nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts what this changed. I mean, incredible amounts of stuff. So anyway, hello Dave, hello Jason, Lucifer Morningstar still on, Maverick, yeah, anyway. Master of Fast Farming is in the chat, he is, absolutely. So anyway, let's click on this. Now look at the graphics. Compared to what we just saw in 17, like I said, I've got on the setting that would allow me 3K, quad 3K was it? 1440. It looks weird. It's difficult to put my finger on. It's crisper, it's definitely crisper, but it seems a little bit more wiry. Is that the right word? It seems a little bit wiry. I don't know why. Well, it's interesting because I was just saying to the guys, I was talking to Jus Rakin at FarmCon, and he was saying he helped them do the transition from 19 to 22 because he was programming for them on the lead up to it. Doesn't work for them anymore, and that was part of his remit, was to make it accessible. So I suppose some of the bigger features, I mean, like I say, this was the mod that changed everything. This wasn't just a mod that added in, a mod that was kind of on the map. This mod changed everything, incredibly so. So you can see, but yeah, I mean it's oh, I do this for a living, apparently. Apparently, I'm a. I hope Mr. JD is not watching. I don't think I've seen him in the comments. Anyway, so thank you, DJ. There's the screen. So as I was saying about the graphics, oops. I need to channel my inner Indiana Jones. I need my Indy hat back on. Oh, I need the power. I need the Indiana Jones power. Indy. Right. So anyway, yeah, it's crisper, it's cleaner, it's tidier, but I think it's a little bit wiry. I don't know why. It just has a very kind of, yes, there's more detail, but I don't know. I can't place what I'm finding wrong with it. It just, anyway, so top right, our menu has changed now, again, quite dramatically, but it does still give us our temperatures, which is great. And we've still got our early, mid and late spring and all that kind of stuff. We'll go around to our vehicles. I've got a few different bits and bobs. Similar sort of stuff laid out again, so we can look at the baling, because baling changed massively on here. Plus, the animals did. And again, we're going to do what we did on 17, but we're going to look at 19 as well. So, as we had on the 17 version, the chickens were always here. On 19, that changed. Chickens became an additional animal. I mean, additional animal, if you want to call it that. And we come to our dialogue box, and this is where things changed hugely. And I miss this. I mean, we do have different animals, don't get me wrong. And obviously in 22, it's just been announced, not 22, 25, it's just been announced we're going to get baby animals, which I think is brilliant. And looking at those pictures and that video stuff from Gamescom and seeing those calves that were struggling to stand, I mean that's wow. I mean, that's incredible stuff. Anyway, I've channeled my inner India, just regained my composure somewhat. Yeah, so your leghorns, they were your bird of choice for eggs. Your Cornish cross, it says there, they breed fast. Good turnaround for profit. Fast growing, so they're more for your meat birds. The hybrid, which was your Rhode Island, did eggs and meat. And then you had your roosters. Now the rooster, this also, what did it say about that? Because I always got this wrong. What was the ratio, people? What was the ratio? Was it 1 to 17, or there was a ratio? You had to have a certain amount of roosters per chickens, and I could never remember what it was. It doesn't say there. So producing eggs, you don't need one. This male bird is primarily used for reproduction. Right, okay. And will work to fertilise eggs. So if you're just doing egg production and you just want to, so if you wanted to go for something like the white leghorn, no, where are we? Yeah, it was the leghorn, wasn't it? And produce eggs, you don't need to have a rooster. But if you wanted to reproduce your animals, you need to have the roosters in there. Yes, that was it. Absolutely. Maybe. Like I said, there's a lot to this, and you can see why this didn't end up being a video. I could have done maybe 4 videos. I could have done one on 17, one 19, one 22, then talked about 25. But as I started recording and realised, like I said, on 17, I was 40 minutes in, and I'd barely scratched the surface. I just hadn't got anywhere. So I thought, you know what, best thing to do, let's live stream it. So anyway, was it 1 to 5? Was it? I thought it was different to that. I don't know, why can't I find? Sorry, you can't see the screen again. I've turned it off, but I'm trying to look for. Animal pens, no. Animals. Cattle. So yeah, it gave loads more information on that on the website. I mean, blimey. Chickens. Food troughs, canning season 19 only contain 48 hours game food. I mean, it's best to check on your animals every day. So that was the thing as well, because it went from 6 days standard on 17 down to 3, and on here it's saying with it seasons 19 on, it was 48 hours. So you had to keep checking your animals regularly. And this was the big thing I talked about then and still talk about now. When people say you should skip ahead and get to the next harvest season, if you're running animals and you're having to keep checking them daily, every other day, making sure their feed's topped up, making sure their bedding's topped up, making sure, it's not as easy to just skip ahead, because there's stuff you need to do in between those skips. I've always said that. There was a whole stuff on food intake and all sorts of things. Anyway, right. Let's go and have a look at these menus then, because wowzers. So differences then, we had the ability, where are we? What am I set on? Lost it. So timescale still went to 120. So 17 went to 120, but no sleep triggers. 19 only went up to 120, but we had sleep triggers. So you could skip, but you can only skip after a certain time of day as well. Whereas now you can skip ahead to 6, 7, 8, 9 in the morning. So you could jump an entire day. You had to get through part of the day before it would allow you to skip ahead on 19, which is a big thing. Legendary console guy, I wouldn't go that far, but it's very kind of you to say. Yeah, if anyone's talking about that roadcraft, that does look cool. I know it's just an aside to what we're looking at now. That looks like a combination of SnowRunner kind of expeditions, construction simulator, kind of all rolled into one. Looks good. I mean, it does look very good. Anyway, so yeah, so that was that. If we go from there to general settings, that was the other thing as well. On 17, you couldn't turn crop destruction off. Oh, I didn't show that, did I? I meant to show it. It was to do with withering and stuff, but okay, it doesn't matter. But obviously on 19 we could, and then we go across to here. So our menus, again, there was information in here. Was it down the bottom? I'm sure it was down the bottom. But as we've already seen, there was a website for this as well. But if you didn't want to go to the website, we still had, there we go, down the bottom, we had our seasons menu, which was very much like the 17 one. So all the information was in here regarding the various different things, including your animals. But that was very much like the version on 17. If you wanted the more in-depth stuff, you had to go to the website, and that was what became that absolutely, I mean, colossal minefield. Seasons menu and HUD. Now, I've got to remember this. So, show seasons menu, and this had changed. We had a lot more on this as well. We still had, and I still think, like I said on 17, we need to go back to this. Left-hand column, all of your crop types. Then you've still got that ground temperature. So again, you might be in the planting window, but if you're in the planting window and you haven't hit the right ground temperature, your seeds won't germinate. You needed that. It was a big thing. Obviously, we had the weed growth and stuff as well, which I've never been a big fan of. But anyway, you know, weeds and stuff too. But as you can see, cotton's not allowed on here anyway. But the temperature needs to be at a certain amount before your seeds will germinate. That was a big thing. Our windows were the same, and then we come across here, and this was different. The weather forecast, massive upgrade on 19. As you can see, I mean, it's just, I mean, where do you go with this? It's just, so you've got your maximum minimum temperatures showing across the top. Your forecast runs out along, depending on how many days you've got it set on. And then you've got your average temperature in the middle. So again, that would gauge and let you work out whether you were going to plant, whether you could plant. So even if you were in the planting window, you still had to check that. Then you had your precipitation, so your chance of rain would be showing there as a percentage. If you go across there to Wednesday, 80%, bang, it's there. And the potential millimeters of rain as well, which is just, I love that level of detail. It's incredible. Then you've got your wind speeds. Now, why were the wind speeds important? Well, now we've got wind on 22, we have. We've got wind direction and that kind of thing. Wind speed was important to do with your drying potential, and the drying potential was all down to producing your hay. So if the ground was wet and you had wet grass, you could ted it and it would dry up a little bit, but it had to be left out to turn to hay. And your drying potential was down there. So you got your plus, then you got your 0. So if there was no wind or it was really low, it didn't really help very much. And then it could go up to, I think the potentials went up to pluses, and there were multiple ones you could go to. And obviously, the warmer it was and the more wind there was, the better your drying potential. So at certain times of the year was when they were suggesting you produced your hay, which made it more realistic in the scope of real world farming. You wouldn't be producing hay in the winter. You would be doing it in perfect make hay when the sun shines, that kind of thing, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Seasons in, I don't know. I think germination, that adds that level of immersion that the real world has. You can't plant crops into freezing cold ground. It just, you know, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, and again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah, and you play the game you want to play it, the way you want to play it. I love the fact it added that immersion in. So then we come across from there, and then we add this. So your frost resistance and your drought resistance. And again, this was a whole, woof, I mean, another step up. and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. 17, maybe it was a better version. I like all of this. I really do. But you can see why people. It's the same as when people were talking in the chat before the stream started. The same with snow. It's great, and it's like, oh, this is cool, this is awesome, this is new, let's put it on, let's run seasons. And you put it on and you start playing, and after a while you can get a bit bogged down, so then it becomes a little bit kind of, oh, I don't know, you know, should I turn it off now? The same as seasons now, seasons on and off. People will play it with on all the time. People will pick and choose, and that's the beauty of it. So all of your crop types were there, and it would tell you your resistance. So again, you had to be careful when you planted. It says the potential for frost damage increases as air temperature falls below 0. Potential for drought damage increases when the soil water content is below 12%. The measurement tool is how you monitor that content. The only downside was there's no irrigation. That was something I was really hoping to see on 25, was an irrigation system. So in the summer months, if the ground was getting dry, you had the potential to irrigate and make that better. Whether that'll be a thing moving forward or not, I don't know. Potentially. Go across then, and then we've got our animals and the various different things that are required. We're kind of aware of that. That's fine. The economy menu, that was pretty much the same as the 17 version, which was pretty cool. Nothing really changed on that. And then this was different. Crop rotation planner. This was a big thing. A lot of people were asking for this on 22, and I honestly don't think. Can I put the French translation? No. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because not everyone used it. Not everyone necessarily would use it. But it was that thing of, and let's go to there. There we go. Forgot the way that works. So you could set what crop was going in your rotation plan based upon you could do it the previous one or what you'd just harvested. And then you could also leave a field fallow. So if you scroll across, and it tells you what types there as well. So you had your oil seeds, your grasses, your cereals, you had your legumes, and then your nightshades, roots, and back. So it gave you what that would be. And then you could go through fallow, and then, you know, it would tell you what benefit you would get. Obviously, you wouldn't want to leave them all fallow. And you could then work out what crops were better leading or going after other ones. Again, with the soybean now, because soybean can, if you're running precision farming, soybean puts nitrogen into the ground. So some of these worked better. So if I went to that one, if you scrolled across, what would give you something better? Cotton following potatoes seemed to work very well. I think some of them went up to 120s, didn't they? If I leave that fallow. Anyway, it was a big thing. It was, you know, a lot of people wanted to sit there and go, cotton off there goes up to 1.14. So leaving the ground fallow really helps. And you just went through, and you could then rotate your crops around rather than doing the same crop. You could go in for a full crop rotation system if you wanted to. Big stuff. And there were lots of people, Pete's saying that, they had spreadsheets and laminated plans to do all of it. People really went proper deep dive on it, you know. You could, again, that immersion level, you could go absolutely bonkers. I'm not saying people are bonkers, I'm saying, but you could go, you know, to an extreme with it if you want to go full on. And then we come to this, and this settings menu was, again, vastly different to I say vastly, increased to the 17 version. So we've still got our Celsius and freedom height, season to introduction, then the season length again. We could change that again up to 24 days. I always used to have mine on 3. Again, it was recommended 9, and then turn your time up to ×5. Then your crop moisture you could turn on or off. So that thing of the crop moisture, that you couldn't harvest stuff if the moisture was too high, you had to wait for it to dry down. Not everyone liked that. It was that, well, I'm in the harvest season, I'm in the harvest window, I want to go out and do my crop. It rained yesterday, or there's early morning dew or late night dew on the ground. It's too moist, it won't let me. So it did give you the option to turn that off, which was a great feature. Snow and snow tracks was the same, snow mode off, on, but you could have the layers as well. So you can only have one layer if you turn it to one layer if you wanted to. I think the other one was the same. Or you could have multiple layers, so it would snow and it would layer up, layer up, layer up. Now some maps have that. It will change. No, there's no crop rotation on 22. There might be a mod, or is it on PC? Is there a crop rotation mod on PC? Potentially. I don't know. And then we had your crop damage. So you could change your crop damage on and off, or the percentage, and then your weed intensity as well. So if you didn't like your weeds, you could put them at 10 if you wanted to. So it did give you the option for scaling a few of these things up. Lower numbers result in less weeds, and then this one, lower numbers result in less damage. I think was that to do with whether your seeds germinated, whether your crop germinated or not. It wasn't weather then that caused it. I think it was down to germination and stuff. So if you had it set to maximum, you could lose whole crops. I mean, it was crazy. But so that was the menu, which in itself was crazy. I think I've already got the... Did I get the Wopster already? Yeah. So you notice as well, and this changed from 17 to 19. I preferred the 17 version. If you've been watching my Drumard Farm series, when you get a jet wash, when you get a chainsaw, and when you use the Wopster, they were bigger and they were down more to the right. It had a better chunky realistic feel to it. From 19 then to 22 they seemed to take on a more almost weedy small feel. They just didn't feel the same. But that's your Wopster. That was available to purchase in was it Tools and Miscellaneous, or was it somewhere else? No, it wasn't, was it? I can't remember where I found it. Oh, it was. There you go. The MT9. So it was changed from the Wopster M240, whatever it was, to the MT9. It was £5 so it went up in price from 3,500. Bit more pricey. But with this one did do vehicles, didn't it? I'm sure it did. There you go. So it would tell you your diesel and stuff on your vehicles. To tell you damage as well. I'm trying to remember if it told you damage. But that was the other thing as well. That when it doesn't give you the information top left. Actually, just jump in the vehicle and see if it does. No. So on 17 that I showed you already, we had that option, didn't we, for what's it called? For your repair. It needs to be done in 30 days or however many hours, and that would show you in the top left hand corner how close you were to needing repair. That's gone, isn't it? Which is a pity. Show seasons. Yeah, so because the weather forecast was in the seasons menu, we don't have it top right, but we do still have our high and low temperatures on there. Ground temperature. Let's turn the Wopster on and do that one. What's that going to tell us? So it works in the same way, same as the menu I already showed you. Your position, elevation, crop type, how much growth, crop moisture, and the ground wetness. We go over to this one. I think I should bring back the Wopster. That's what I say. Bring it back. Yeah, you had to pay to use it. I think it was one thing people weren't very happy about as well. And then you got your fertilisation state on there as well, just there. So depending on the crop moisture and all those kind of things, could be adjusted. And that's saying, look, bottom right as well, before, so what it was before and previous, so before, previous and previous, so it tells you for your rotation planning what it had been previously. So if you want to do your next rotation, crop rotation plan, you could look bottom right, see what this crop had previously been and before that, to inform your decision moving forward for your better crop growth and that kind of stuff, and yields and things like that. Yeah, I mean, it was all sorts, you know. You had to pay for using all sorts of stuff. Yeah, look, it's going down. Every beep was your money went down. So yeah, I mean, the field info screen in that respect is better, I guess. I think having one that doesn't charge you would be cool. I think having one that came up like the field info screen, having something like that, but that came up bigger on the screen, like the old Pip-Boy on Fallout, you know. So it showed the information, but showed it on a screen. So it comes up on the screen within a screen. Does that make sense? Anyway, let's turn that off. We looked at the chickens. So what I was going to do then? Where are our... Oh, there we go. I was going to say, the animal pens aren't showing. Right, let's go to there. And we'll visit place. So... And again, big change up, big move from 17 to 19 was this. And I loved it. Absolutely awesome. So you had your Dorsets, your Merinos, your Suffolks and your Dorpers. Your Dorsets were your kind of across the board ones, really good. Your Merinos were wool. MrSealyp's in the house. Who wants to say hello to MrSealyp? Hang on, let's just... we can put that on...
Hello, hello.
MrSealyp's here. How is everyone? It'll come up because there's a delay, so you'll get a bit of a delay from that.
Like,
I've had to be wearing my hat. Look at that, just shiny.
Why have you been wearing your hat?
I need a makeup. I bought me because I talked about it in the last stream. So I bought me Indiana Jones hat out.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because when I hit 200 likes, I change hats sometimes.
You gotta run out of hats then.
Does the chat slow down? Is the chat still going? Is everyone still there? Please still be there, someone.
It's all good. It's all good. I just popped out to see if you want a coffee.
Actually, I better try. There we go. No, I'm alright actually.
Okay. Well, nice to see you all.
There you go. Now it's going.
Hello. Hi everyone. Nice to see you. You okay? Yeah.
Yes, all good.
All right.
All good. I'll go back to
it then.
Okay. Love you. See you later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye bye. That comment there, Ryan, consoles can't play on 4X maps. They can't on 19 or 22. But I think people are talking about potential for 25. When we were at FarmCon, Florian Boost was saying Giants have been testing consoles on 4X maps and 16X maps to see how they can cope with it. And whilst Giants are not going to be bringing out 4X maps themselves, he did say potentially it could happen. And I think some map makers are already working on 4X maps. So I'm not saying we're definitely getting 4X maps on console moving forward, but Florian Booth said he saw no reason why not. So I'm assuming in the testing they've been doing, it's been working. I don't know. But yeah, obviously in 1922 we can't, but potentially moving forward we could. She does pat me on the head quite a lot, like I'm farm dog, I think. Anyway. Oh, okay, well I need to change it from top chat to what? I'm a professional. Like I keep saying, I'm good at this, aren't I? Let me just adjust my accoutrement. Okay, right. So, yeah, so your Dorset says a large breed of sheep, grows moderately fast, moderate wool production, so kind of an all-rounder, which is very, very cool. And then the Merinos were more wool-focused, wool production, not as prolific. And then you had your Suffolks, fast-growing, modest amount of wool, and your Dorpers produced no wool, but they were prolific and fast maturing. So they were your meat breeds, I guess, kind of, if you want to look at it like that. So, and that was a big change. I mean, all those kind of things, just absolutely well. And now, I don't know. I think we took a good step forward with it. It didn't have all of the options, but again, moving forward to 25, we're lucky because, I say lucky, people say we're not lucky, we should have had it anyway. We're going to be getting the baby animals thing, which I think is awesome. I don't mind seeing all the chaos. I don't know why I never normally have it set on that. That's very peculiar. So we'll go from there to, we did the pigs, didn't we? Then we'll do the cows. So the pigs we had. Again, if you came into the game and started on 19, that's great. You might have started on 17. You might, no, it wasn't this side, was it? Where is it? I've lost it. I've lost it big time. It was all the way around here, wasn't it? So this may be the game you started on, in which case you're really familiar with it. But again, you're still looking at minimum 3 years ago, maximum 6 years ago. Chaos in the server. So our Yorkshires, our Gloucestershire Old Spots, our Spotted, and our Berkshires, or Berkshires, depending on where you're from. And again, mother breed, fast growing, high amount of capital for the initial purchase. But again, look at the prices. That's what I meant to mention as well. If you think on 17, you were looking at, was it nearly 4 grand for, was it the pigs? 5 grand for the sheep, 5,900 and something on seasons for the cows. The prices were very different. And then obviously you would breed them up from there and the prices would increase. And then, I can't remember, how long was it said? What was the maximum you could go to? That would be in all of the information. Because there was a whole load about how far. Oh, hens lay eggs to get chickens. 1 to 8. I found that thing. It says hens lay eggs to get chicks, get a rooster. Ideal is 1 rooster per 8 hens. The chance of breeding decreases with less roosters. If the hen is brooding, no eggs are produced. Okay, there we go. What did it say? I'm sure it said somewhere about how, was it 10 years? I'm trying to think how long it was. there was all those sweet spots for each of the animal types that when it reached a certain weight, a certain age, it was the best point to sell because you got the best money for them. The longer you kept them, then it could start to decrease. But then if you were doing them for reproduction, that was fine. Yeah, it all depended. Anyway, so right, so that was the pigs. Then it was cows we were going to have a look at. Visit. Oh, blimey. Where are we? We need to be out here, don't we? Oh, yes, that was what I was going to show as well. Where was it under? Under placeables. And look at these menus as well. Oh, man. There are some similarities, but blimey, it changed, didn't it? Animal pens. And this was added in, and I love this. This is because if they ran out of water or feed, your animals could perish. But part of the mod was the water pump that was added in, and the water pump could be placed. Oh, blimey, that's all over the place. Why are we? That won't let me zoom in any closer than that. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, I don't own the land yet, do I? But you could place the water pump close to the water trough, and that would constantly make sure there was enough water. It didn't refill it completely, but it made sure if your water ran down, there would still be an amount in there, so you would never run out of water, which was brilliant. That was a great addition to have in the water pump. I loved that. I mean, we have got tons and tons of mods that allow for that now in 22. The buildings now, most of which have water built in. Pens, pastures don't, but buildings do on 22, which kind of eradicated that. But there are some mods as well which allow, even with your pastures, to fill up one source and then you can distribute water out to them. So, you know, again, I just wanted to come on and do this as well to highlight every time we get a new iteration of the game and people are still talking about 25 and saying it looks no better than 22. It's a reskin. I don't know how people are still saying it's a reskin after all the stuff we've seen over the last few weeks. It's not a reskin. It's not even close to being a reskin. It's crazy. But looking at 17, 19, and I wanted to look at it through the lens of seasons as well, because seasons is a big part. It changed hugely. I mean, absolutely hugely. So, our cows then. And this was, wow. I mean, the Brahmin was because when the expansion came out with, was it Lepacho? Estancia Lepacho. You had the Brahmins, your South American. But then you had your Limousine, which were your beef carcass breeds, as it says there at the bottom. Expensive, but feed efficient. Grow quickly, great price at market. Your Ayrshires, low feed consumption. Price per head, well-worthy trade-offs for lower milk production. Your Sailor, again, cheaper option, high marbling carcasses, decent investment, and your Holsteins are the queen of milk. They're your milk production, as we sort of still are in game, really, I guess. Breed requires a lot of feed, expensive to buy up front, but they do produce a lot of milk, well worth having. And again, I like that as an option. Then you have your Brahmins, your brown, white, light brown, grey. It's incredible, really. Your males and females as well, I did, because the males on your meat breeds, you didn't need females. They'd reproduced anyway, didn't they? Or did they? Or did you just feed them up? Can't remember on seasons. That was your cows. What were we going to do next? What was I going to show you? I said I was going to show you something. Whoa. I forgot I had that. The lizard gnu. That thing was crazy. Came out quite late in the game, as I recall. When I was playing on Attingham Park, I had one of those. And it was very cheap with, like, what's it, 800 horsepower or something? It was a crazy bit of kit. So, let's just have a look at this. Because I'm again, it's interesting. As I said when I started the stream, I kind of prepped the maps to come on, and I'd found the Realismus Modding website, but I wanted it to be a thing for me as well, where I came on. This wasn't me. This is not a guide to. This is not a showcase. This is not a me saying this is how this mod works. I wanted to come back and re-familiarise myself and look at it again and see with that. I don't know, that not feeling of surprise, but let's turn it on. We're on swath dropping. Are we on swath dropping? Yes, we are. But again, we had the same situation where your hay, grass left out would degrade, it would disappear. If it rained, it would go away faster. I think looking at the 25 stuff we've seen with the twister damage and the hail damage, it's saying about bales need to be kept inside. It hasn't said anywhere about loose product. So imagine I'm doing this now, right? And I'm quite happily going away, doing my grass cutting. All is good in the world. I'm very pleased with myself. And then a twister comes through. It doesn't say with the bales. I don't think it's going to lift the bales and fling them, but we don't know whether the bales will reduce in capacity, whether you'll lose some, whether they will disappear, unless somewhere it has been said. I haven't found it anywhere. But also, like loose products will be the same with the loose product, because technically, I guess, if you're going to lose crops in a field in FS25, if a twister came across now, that would all go, that would disappear. So I don't know, really. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, will my Wopster tell me? I can't remember if it did this or not. No, it's just saying grass, isn't it? But I can't remember how we worked out, because that's just grass, though. That's not tedded. And that had to be left out to turn to hay. But I can't remember whether or not it would allow us, if I ted it, and what we'll do, we'll ted some of it and then we'll bale both bits. Because as far as I recall, you had to leave it out in the sun to dry. Yeah, it's interesting, Pete. You like say it's saying unless they're under a roof they'll get damaged, but it doesn't say. I mean, will you come out and it'll be like half the bales missing, as in it looks like half a bale? Will it be the same size bale but there's just less capacity, so it will look like maybe a 4,000 litre bale but there's only 2,500 litres left in it? Or will the bales go? So if you've got 10 bales out, 4 of them disappear. I don't know. It's yeah, that's the point. I was thinking with the twister warnings, because they haven't shown that on any of the video clips. Is there a siren? Do you get a siren that goes on off first that gives you that time to either get indoors, get away, get your bales in? I don't know what it might be. 1719 Lucifer, the thing you got to remember is this is I'm looking at this through the lens of the Seasons mod. The base game didn't. The base game was standard. We have got more animal choices on 22 in the base game than we had on the base game on 17 and 19. The Seasons mod is what changed that. The Seasons mod gave us all those extra things. So it is slightly skewed from the base game version, because I'm looking at this, all of this let's play, this stream is looking at seasons across the games, not just the games themselves. So what we'll do, let's turn to that, drop it down. Do you notice it changes a little bit, but not a lot? I think the ground moisture must be pretty good, but that hasn't gone hay, because on 19 with seasons on, the hay colour is like bright, almost yellow, bordering on straw. So let's put the Wopster out again. What's the moisture? 16% on the grass. It's not fully grown as well either, but that still won't. I don't think this will tell us, will it? But what we'll be telling is we try and bale it, because although we've tedded, that should still be grass. It might be dry grass, but it's not hay yet. Oh yeah, can you imagine? That's what I'm thinking. It's that thing of, it's a great and immersive thing, but it's also that thing as well. A lot of people have been saying with the crop destruction, because you can turn crop destruction on and off, assuming that will still be a thing on 25. If you turn crop destruction off, will the hail and twisters not damage your crops, or is that going to be set in stone? People are hoping you can turn the twisters off. As far as I understand it, you can't turn them off, but you can reduce the frequency. I'm sure in the interview that DJ Goham and Clutch did with Kermit, they said that the frequency could be reduced, not turned off, I think. But he also said as well, the same as with snow in the winter, you might not get one. You might go a year, 2 years and not get a single twister. Then the following year you might get one. So I think it's the frequency, but you're right, absolutely. You don't get, there's no building damage. I'm sure they've already said that. It doesn't damage buildings, it doesn't damage vehicles and machinery, it doesn't pick them up and scatter them or anything like that. Which I thought would be quite a cool thing. I said that when I was doing the video. How cool would it be that if your shed got damaged, And then you've got, because you've got the buildable farmhouses built, you know, that you'd have to then come and repair it. You'd have to bring wood. So the forestry becomes a more important thing then, because you've got to cut down trees, you've got to produce lumber, or even go and buy it, whatever you need to do, and then come and fix your shed up. I just think that would be a so cool thing to do. Right, okay. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate that. So what we're going to do now is grab the baler. So this should, when we go over it, should still be saying grass. And if it's still saying grass, it should allow me to bale it and wrap it. But it won't be saying hay yet, because it's just not hay. I think what I might do, I might try and speed up time. Mind you, we might lose more before it turns to hay. Yeah, I don't know what the frequency is going to be. Drop that down. Yeah, bottom right, that's saying grass. So again, like I say, with the seasons mod on 19... So even though I cut the grass, and it is grass, and this is the grass texture now, and the grass colour, I then came across and tedded it, it still looks the same. So I think the point with the tedding as well is, if your grass is wet, if you've cut it and it's got wet, and it's saying it's wet grass, tedding it will turn it to dry grass, but then you've got to take that from dry grass to turn it into hay on 19, which was, again, it was a big change. This should still allow me to wrap it, and it should, with the wopster like I showed you in the other one, should still allow me to have a look. Can I get a full bale? I can always cut some more grass. Yeah, wet grass was dark, wasn't it? See, wet grass was what we have as our grass texture now. Grass looked like this. So that should wrap. I'll drop that at the other end. And then we'll check it with the... I keep calling it the wopster. It is still the wopster. I just don't know whether or not we'll get to a point. We're not showing. I mean, the temperature's not that high. The wind's not that great either. Let's drop that off. Turn that off. Get that out and have a look. That should say. There you go. 4,000 litres of grass, and it is fermenting. It's going to take 24 hours for that bale to turn into a silage bale. Awesome. Yeah, I think the crop moisture, I'm sure they said 25% was the maximum. So the crop moisture was important, because at the moment it's only sitting at 16 for the grass. If it had just rained, I mean, I suppose you wouldn't necessarily be cutting the grass just after rain. But if it was wet, but like I say, you could cut the grass, and that's why paying attention to the weather forecast was so important. Because if you were going to go out and cut your grass and it looked like it was going to rain later in the day, you'd think, well, actually, I won't. Because then my grass I've just cut that looks like this will either go darker and become wet grass, or I'll lose some because it will start to degrade over time as well. I mean, again, that's just something to bear in mind. So what were the other features? I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, gameplay moving forward, there was so much stuff with regard to animal feed and production and the speeds at which they went through things and the actual degradation of crops. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to speed up time. But like I said earlier, big difference. 120 was still the maximum time we could speed it up to. But at a certain time of day, we did have, if it's showing, we did have sleep triggers, which we didn't have on 17. So you can skip ahead. I'm hoping, I don't know, we might be the wrong time of year. We'll see what happens. Thank you, James. It's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Thank you. You get, everyone in the chat gets a thumbs up and a cheer. Everyone that's been on, thank you. I appreciate all of you. I know it's a Sunday. People are busy doing things with family or whatever they're doing, or you might have jobs to do, and as Hydra had to go off and make some IKEA furniture, that kind of thing. People have got things to do, so the fact you're taking the time to spend it with me, that's awesome. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. What I need to do now is just switch to that and double check something. Let's go and expand that. How we're looking, peoples. 314 likes with a total of 2,107 views. Smash that like button, people. Smash it. Absolutely. Keep it going. Let's put that to minimize so I can still see my chat again. Awesome stuff. Right, so I'm going to speed up time and let's see what happens. I hope this changes because I want to show that off. Like I say, this is not a deep dive. This is just looking at the differences, and also because we can see the difference graphically in the game as well. We're looking at some of the different bits of machinery and equipment, and it's interesting to see. Let's go to. Hang on. Where are we? There we go. 120. it might not change. The problem is I'm worried because it's not really warm enough that if we get to midnight we'll lose some of that. But it'll be interesting to see if it does change the hay. It's the wrong time of year. We should be making our hay in the summer and we're in spring, but why not while we're on here. Daryl's been waiting for a live stream for a while. I'm glad you've joined us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carl. Sidewinder. Looking at all the people. I'm trying to find Taurus Primus or Farmcat Jenkins. Noise. T-Bone Ross. Thank you. Everyone that's in the chat. Everyone that's been in the chat. Thank you, Brian. Which consoles could handle 4X maps? Yeah, like I say, potentially. Sorry. Moving forward to 25, potentially. We'll see. Pay attention. Pay close attention to this pile, people, to see if it degrades, because it should do. Theoretically, it should do. We enjoy all your content. Thank you very much. Currently on FS17 at the moment. Chillington map. Yeah, I mean, the Drumard, I think I've got one more episode, maybe two, on Drumard, and then I'm done. I have been prepping today my new FS22 Let's Play. The map might surprise people, actually. I've had loads of people send me suggestions of the map I should do. Maps that people think would be best, and I've been going through and having a look because, yeah, it's a difficult one. Like I said before, map choice is a big part of whether people watch or not. It's not always just about what you're doing. The map plays a big part of it. I'm going back to more standard gameplay in so much as farming and everything, you know, and doing contracts and doing stuff like that to earn money and to build the farm. I'm not going full start from scratch. I'm going to have some start machinery, not a huge amount, just a little bit. But it is going to have a theme. There is going to be a theme to it, not like the Apocalypse one. I mean, that was nuts. And I know that was a very Marmite thing for a lot of people. When it started out, it was quirky, it was different, but it was difficult to do normal farming. So I want to try and get back to a normal sort of thing. Anyway, sitting on your porch watching the goldfinches enjoying the sunflower seeds I've grown for them. Oh, that's fantastic. We used to have finches. We had quite a few over the years. Guinea pigs, finches, not in the same thing, obviously. That's bizarre. Sorry, I need to wet the old whistle somewhat. Shameless plug, people. Come on. You know you want to get some MrSealyp merch. Link in the description. Jump in, grab something. Why not? I don't think this is going to turn to hay. Because as we get into... the temperatures seem to warm up a little bit. As we get into the darkness in the morning... it'd be interesting if it goes darker again. But I think by the morning it'd be interesting to see if it's... we are literally watching grass dry. I would say paint dry, but we are watching grass dry. How exciting is this? Sorry, looking down, there's something very weird on the underside of my desk. What is that? Looks like a sap or a resin. Where's that come from? Ugh! Yuck! Just touch that as well. What is it? Shameless mug. Very good. Like that. I'll use that in future. That Uriet, that was a really nice map. I liked it. There are a lot of great maps, and that's the thing. Don't think it's going to change, but I mean we can just chat, we'll talk, and you know, I'll interact with everybody while we're waiting to see what happens in the morning. We'll just leave that chugging around. I'm going to put my controller down. That's how blasé I am. That's how I'm just so free and single and free and single. No. So we'll do. There we go. Another hat again. Plug. Available on the merch store. I went for Coyote this time rather than I had my black one because my channel's like black with the logo. I went with a sort of khaki Coyote this time. I like it. It's quite cool. And I've always said, who remembers? Was it Medal of Honor? The Medal of Honor games when you had Dusty. Oh, I always loved that hat backwards with the beard. The glasses aren't really working. They're popping up there. Bit of a dusty look. I like that. It was dusty, wasn't it? Anyway, sorry. Random, very random. Hay in 19 was much better. Yeah, if you were using the seasons mod, it was. Did that die? Is that degraded? At midnight it might. Let's see what happens at midnight. I'm just watching it intently now to see. Is everyone watching? Pay attention to the grass, everyone. Pay attention. Take care, Papa Bear. Look after yourself. Yeah, that was something as well that was part of seasons, and I think it did it when I was playing on Six Ashes, wasn't it? That on contract, when you had seasons on, you could do a contract and you could pick up the straw off the field, which you could never do. You could only do it with seasons on. Seasons allowed you to do that, and then when we went to 22, it was that pickup, the forage pickup header, which allows you to do it as well, which is brilliant, and I've used that so many times. The day is long and warm in summer. It's time to make hay and watch the crops grow. Oops, maybe I've done that too early. Oops. Mind you, if it has changed colour, we're going to be able to tell. I mean, it's much brighter, isn't it? Has that degraded at all? We haven't had any rain, which is good. I can't tell if it has or not. Thank you, Lonnie. You're ready for FS25. Thank you, Lonnie. It's very kind of you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Very generous. It's like watching paint dry. It's watching. Yeah, we're watching grass dry, people. Where else on YouTube can you get content like this? Hey, where can you get it? Only with professional, top-tier streamers can you sit and watch grass dry. I thought I'd turn that. Oh, I did. Looking at the wrong screen. Oops. It's all right. The sun will come up in a minute, and then when. Yeah. Sun will come up tomorrow. Nope. Nope, no more singing. Stop that. It's silly. I've been doing this for a while. How long have we been streaming for? It's been a little while, isn't it? Keep smashing that like button. Come on. Keep doing it, people. And then we'll... It is the watch pot never boils, isn't it? It'll either suddenly go, boom, hey, or it won't. This is the stream. This is the stream to be watching, people. If you're bored on a Sunday afternoon, come and watch grass dry. Why not? Grass drying simulator. Absolutely Fezzik. I did said it. That's the thing. You can cut the grass, and if the grass is dry already... Oh, look, we lost some. We've lost... Or was that the grass growing? Did we lose some, or did the grass grow? It's difficult to tell. I think the grass grew a little bit. Yeah, exactly. It's normally only on Twitch where you can get this kind of content. I'm knocking out of the park today. Yeah, so if you cut the grass and the grass is the moisture in the grass is dry, you get dry grass. You can tell it and nothing will change. But yeah, the ground's now looking moist. Let's have a look and see what it's saying. What's our moisture? Look at the ground moisture. 20%. Have a word, son. So what might be interesting is if we cut some grass now, the sun's come up. The grass should be darker. That's not going to turn, is it? Or is it? Trying to look and see. Let's put time back to real time. So if the ground moisture is saying it's 20%, 21%, if we cut the grass now, will it give us a darker look? Yeah, that's still not hay. Hay's a more yellow. I was really hoping that was going to change. But anyway, it was just to show it, off and say, look, this is what it looks like, you know. Our bale, though, we can check that, because that should have 7 hours to go till we are fermented. Will this give us the same colour, or will it give us a darker texture? Was that another one, Lonnie? Lonnie, dude. Good morning from Kansas. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lonnie. Should have done that all of them, shouldn't I? It's because I had the wrong Chateau thing on before, didn't I? It's all good. No, you can't. That's weird. That's what I was going to say. It was one thing that I think I always thought with 19. When you put the Wopster on, you can't scan the swath. I thought you could. Because that's just the grass that's next to it. It says the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't tell you that it's a swath. It doesn't. I don't think you can. So what I'm going to do, let me just very quickly, and then what we'll do, we'll just move over to 25. We're all playing, I say we're all, a lot of us are playing 25 at the moment. Let's see if this gives us a darker texture, a darker look, because the crop moisture, yeah, look at that, see? So that is what we're used to as being our grass colour. So with 19, that is your grass texture, colour. That is wet grass, because the moisture in the grass this early in the morning, that's moist. So what you'd have to do now is TED that. If I TED that, I'll get dry grass, not hay. I'll get dry grass. And then it needs to stay out in the sun, and it will go from dry grass to hay. You can't TED it again. If I take my dry grass and TED it, it stays dry grass. You can't turn it into hay unless it's been out in the sun. And I like that as a feature. I think it's brilliant. I'm glad that worked, that we saw the difference in those two. That's really cool. I'm just wondering now whether I should speed up time and see if we can get it to turn to hay. The fact it's saying early summer, it should be warmer over the course of the day. Should it be warmer? Yeah, I just feel like this is a bit, you know, I just wanted to show it off, but it's not working because you've got to speed up time, and while we're speeding up time, it's just like, so we are just watching grass dry, which is a bit bonkers really, but I appreciate if you're still with me. Thank you, Sidewinder. Thank you, David. Thank you, RCT Pest Control. Just Jason. Thank you very much. All the people that have joined the chat. Catcracker6. If I've missed your names, I do apologise. Turn it off now. Sun is coming up. I just want these. I just want it to turn. Have we got a bit? Let's tell what we can do. Let's go to. We want that and that. Let's have a look at our weather forecast. So today, over the course of the day, we're showing plus. Our wind speed, meters per second, is only 8. It's not very high. When you look across to Saturday, it's saying 17 on wind speed. So when it gets to that point, that will be showing probably a plus on your drying. We're only on a plus, so I don't know if we will. I mean, if we don't, it's not the end of the world. But again, we've had a look at some of the features. We've had a look at the menus. We've had a look at the Wopster. I think. Do you really, Danny? Do you think? You think 22 looks like a cartoon? I don't know. Like I say, I'm honestly from 17 to 19. I said at the start when I was showing this before, you know, once I put the screen back on, I think it just looks a bit wiry. I don't know. I suppose it is. I don't know. It just. I don't know. It doesn't quite look right to me. That's just me personally. I don't know how long this is going to take. It might not. I'll give it a little bit longer, and if it doesn't, there's also that thing as well. The lighting, you notice on 19, the difference between 19 to 22. On 22, it's a gradual increase in lighting. On 19, it was almost like a staged. It was like someone was turning up a light, switch, so you get a dimmer, because it would suddenly go bump, bit brighter, bump, bit brighter, bump, bit brighter. Whereas on 22, it's a more gradual increase in light. Like I say, this now won't change unless I TED it. Let's TED that, and that will put it to dry grass. Again, I'm showing the same thing, but why not? Yeah, you had to check the weather. I mean, that was the thing, wasn't it? Please turn to hay. That's all I want. All I want for Christmas is hay. There you go. So that's taking our wet grass and turning it into dry grass. Just an interesting thing to check as well. Would it allow us, because I don't remember really doing this, I did a little bit on 6 ashes, didn't really do it on Attingham. Could we bale wet grass, or did it have to be dried before we could bale it? I can't remember. So let's have a look. Why not? This wasn't supposed to be a deep dive into seasons, it was just looking at the features and looking at what I'd changed, but now I'm hooked. Oh no, it's still saying grass. It's still letting me. Interesting the differences though. I didn't think it would. The crop rotation was pretty cool. Will it let me go to this? Yeah, it's letting me mix the two together. Oh, there we go. Have we got it? We have. Hey! Hallelujah! Solidarity, brothers and sisters. We got there. So there we go. We should have the 3 different types. There's our wet grass. That's interesting. There's our dried grass. And there's our hay. Left out in the sun to dry. Much lighter. Not quite... yeah, not quite straw. But we got to see all 3, which is lovely. So, I think this is... If I get this bale out of the way... And that's the thing, I suppose, getting it done when it was nice and sunny was the important bit. Let's get that out of the way. I just want to see it say hay in the bottom corner, you know. I haven't got enough, have I? Oh. Oh. You fool. Just cut a bit more. Then we'll move on to 22. So I'm not spending all day on it. I just thought, well, come on, I'd stream for a bit and see how things went. And then what we can do while we're looking at the 22 stuff, we can just have a think, have a talk. People can put in their hopes, dreams, wishes, you know, what do they want to see, what do they want to see with regard, I mean, just generally, but what do they want to see with regard to seasons. Well, I say, as far as I'm aware, the conversation, the interview with DJ Goham, Clutch and Kermit alluded to the fact that seasons was going to probably remain fairly unchanged. So I don't know what we're going to be looking at. I don't know what we're going to be seeing. I don't think... I think if people are expecting massive change, I don't think that's going to be the case. Personally, I don't think it's going to be the case. But maybe it will. I just don't think it will. So that should wrap that. Once we've got that out, and that starts wrapping, we should be able to turn that back on. And now that should be saying bottom right. Hey, there we go. I think we should go back to this. I really prefer this. I think having this as an option. I like having the wind speeds and the drying potential of the sun, and because it's that thing as well. I'm a nightmare for it, because it's that thing of, you know, I like to be able to cut, bale, produce my feed for my cows, total mixed ration, whatever, whenever I want to do it. But if you want to go for that immersion, there are times of the year that it works better in real life. Of course it does. And that's what this brings. That's what it always brought. Competitive grass drying. It got better. Thanks very much. If it gets laggy, that could be all sorts of things. It's not laggy my end. Sometimes it happens on YouTube. For some reason, YouTube, it gets a little bit every now and again. I don't know. Hey, with the monkeys. Very good. So, 19. Let's come out. And what we're kind of, I suppose, all more au fait with and what we're used to seeing now is 22. And we know what we got on 22. But like I say, it's, I don't know. There are elements like we've just talked about on 17 and 19 that I would have liked to have seen on 22. And I understand why. And I understand why in the conversion over from it being a mod to being base game, like I've said, I know I'm repeating myself, that Giants wanted it to be more accessible for more people. But I'll be honest, there's some of these elements that aren't crazy. I mean, they're not incredibly complicated. We've just gone to Western Wilds. That's my sort of standard. Yeah, that's my mod map, my test map, so we can go on to that. You can see what my mod map looks like before I've got mods on it. I don't often show this. So this is my test map and my mod map. So when I do my mod reviews, this is where everything's kind of set up, ready to go. That's what I said, Lone Star. I'm not showing 25, but we can talk about 25 because we've had some information, but not a lot. Because they stayed well clear of telling us or showing us anything really that had anything to do with seasons on 25. If we come into our menus here, so all the stuff we're kind of used to, where are we? So yeah, on here, obviously, this is where it all changes. This is our seasons. So it's base game now. Seasonal on, yes or no, or even paused. With it off, you don't get the planting and harvesting season. So you have got the option to turn it off. And what was a big change as well from on 17 and 19, you had your growth cycles. On 17, you had the fast growth. So you could turn your growth of your crops from normal to a sort of medium to a fast. And as you've seen on my FS17 Let's Play on Drumard, you could produce crops within 24 hours. You'd have crops growing. A lot of people are saying that should still be an option. If you want to speed up your growth, you can. With the Seasons mod, that then put that into a more realistic, it's going to take longer for your crops to grow. That then became the base game. Now, one thing that people said was, right from 22 when it came out, was if you've got seasonal growth, no. Seasonal growth, yes. Seasonal growth, no, should be you can plant and harvest whenever you like, and your crops can grow, and you can choose your speed of growth. If you put seasonal growth, yes, on, then you've got your planting and harvesting window, and they take months and months as they would do in the real world. So you've got the option to go more realistic or more like it was in 19 and 17. But obviously what they gave us was, with it turned off, if we go up this menu to the side, we don't have the planting and harvesting window. However, we've lost it. I've lost it. There we go. Not 28 days. No, back to there on this map. If we put it to yes, and then we go up. There we go. Then we've got that, which was separate when it came to the mod before. So it's in the main menu now. So that changed from it being a mod on 17, a mod on 19, with all the stuff that it brought with it, to being base game. Everything then was in the menu. It was all into the sort of integral. But like I said as well, when you had your geos on 17 and 19, you don't get geos now. But what map makers tend to do is they'll put a geo specific built into the map, so that this screen here, your crop calendar, will change. Now obviously from 19 we saw that your crop rotation planner went out the window. The grass drying out in the sun, turning it into hay, that changed, which we just saw. That kind of got taken away. We lost the Wopster, but we gained the field info screen. Again, I mean, it depends how you feel about that. I like the Wopster. I think it was cool. I think there could be a version of something along those lines. So that was on there. And what else have we got? And then obviously the animals change. And we've seen, and I've said this all the way through, depends when you've joined this stream or not, that with 25 coming, we're going to have baby animals added in, which is brilliant. I like that. Seasons 19 went away towards that. You could buy younger animals, but I'm pretty sure visually they all look the same, didn't they? I'm sure they did. So then on 22, modders then brought in our baby animals and that range of having ducks and chicks and goats and all the various different pigs. And if you went for the cows, having bulls and having all the stuff that's been done by modders. Now it's going to be interesting to see when we go into 25. Again, they've showed we're going to have baby animals, but are we going to have baby animals? Are we going to have heifers? Are we going to have bulls? Or will it just be we've got baby animals? Will we have our sows and porkers and that kind of stuff with the pigs? Again, we haven't seen the menus for it, but that's what we're kind of looking at. So we go back to there, and what else was on here? We've got our day cycles, and our days changed as well from the seasons mod to FS22. 24 days was the maximum. It went to 28 days, and then we had this, the fixed visual month. So you could pick, so whereas the seasons would roll round and you'd see all that change. I didn't really show that on the 19 version or the 17 version, but that was what was the big thing with seasons as well. You had that cycle progression through where the scenery, the landscape changed as you went through the year, which was massive. I mean, such a huge part of the seasons mod. And again, not everyone likes that. Some people just don't want that. So the fact you've got the ability to fix your visual month if you want to, you can. Everything else still cycles. You've still got your planting and harvesting windows and that kind of thing. But you could fix it, which was great. Your snow was on and off. You didn't have layer options or anything like that. Your crop destruction stuff is the same stuff that was always there. But, having the weather forecast, that was now integral. That's built in. Again, that was part of the seasons mod before. But having it here, I don't think the weather forecast is as integral. I don't think it's as important, personally. That's just me. Jason, it's something I'm looking at, and I've talked about this a lot. I've spoken to Mr. Dalek JD actually on Friday because it's my daughter's birthday and we're all together, and we're going to look at setting up, I know I keep saying it, we're going to look at setting up channel subscriptions. I might only have 2 tiers because it's very difficult for me to add extra stuff in. There'll be some bonus stuff and when I stream and that kind of thing. And what I'm thinking of doing for the upper tier maybe is having 1 day a week where we have a members Discord channel, and maybe on a Wednesday evening we'll be in and it'll be a members only Discord chat where we can go in and chat and talk about stuff, talk about the game, that kind of thing. I've never particularly liked that whole thing because it feels a bit elitist to me. I don't like it when you're watching a live stream and the stream goes to members chat only. I just think it's kind of forcing people to become members, and a lot of YouTubers won't even read the comments out. Like I'm going through looking at the comments and reading comments out. A lot of YouTubers will only read out comments if it's attached to a super chat, if it's attached to a monetary payment. I don't know. It's not very YouTuber of me. I mean, I'm not gonna make a fortune. I'm not gonna become a mega tuber by behaving like that. But I just prefer this interaction. So it's something we might look at. It's something we want to do. Yeah, channel memberships. We are kind of, hopefully we're going to get set up because I'll be honest with you, we might have to sooner rather than later just to keep the channel afloat. I'm not going to lie. So, thank you, David. Glad you caught one. We're kind of looking forward to seasons. I don't know. I do have a PayPal. Not everyone has PayPal, and I have people that donate regularly. They do a monthly thing on that. Thank you, Daryl. That's very kind of you, my friend. Your first super on a live stream. That's awesome. Thank you, mate. Very, very cool. That's brilliant. Thank you. No, I understand that, David. That's very cool. It's very nice of you to be very open-minded about it. A lot of people can be very narrow-minded about it. I still get people having a go at me about adverts on my videos and why they're ads, because that's how YouTubers earn money. That's how it works, I think it's very naive of people to believe that's... Oh, blimey. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Ronnie. Awesome. You can also get... Let's have a look. Where are we? You get Farm Dog approved as well, people. All of you get Farm Dog approved. Thank you. So that off, that off, that off. Did I remember? I did them all this time. Thank you, guys. That's very kind of you. Thanks for being you. That's very kind of you. Good morning from Kansas. Thank you, Ronnie. Good morning. Hope you are well. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Very, very cool indeed. So yeah, I mean, I honestly think the weather doesn't play enough of a role on 22. You can look ahead and see when it might rain, and yes, you can't harvest, on the seasons mod before, you couldn't harvest in the rain. It wouldn't let you. I think the harvest would turn off, wouldn't it? It will allow you to harvest in the rain on 22, but you take a yield hit. So yeah, you can look ahead. I think for 25 it'll be more relevant. Again, you're looking ahead at the weather forecast. Potentially there might be a warning of the twisters. Hail, you won't get a warning. It did say that. I don't know. Is there a potential for multiplayer with DJ and others? We have done some in the past, actually. We have done some. Oh, man. Thank you, dude. That's very cool. Thank you, Jim Browning. Good morning from Colorado. MrSealyp, thank you very much, mate. You're awesome. Thank you for your generosity. It's very kind of you. Yeah, so I honestly think the 19 version with the hay drying and stuff was more relevant. I think it made you pay more attention to the weather forecast. It made the weather forecast more relevant because now you just kind of go along and start, okay, it's raining. I'll just skip ahead. I'll just bounce ahead. And that's another big thing as well. When we talk about that, if we go into... I've had one of those momentary... I say momentary. You know those big lapses of concentration I have? What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, it was timescale. So again, 17 times 120 was the max you could go to. Times 120. 19 times 120 with the ability to have a sleep trigger, but you could only sleep through the night at a certain time of day. It would allow you to access that trigger. 22, that changed with our timescale. We've got half timescale, which can be very important. And then we roll through all the various different ones right the way up past 120 to 240 and 360, which is massive. And then obviously with the sleep triggers, big difference being as well, you can access the sleep trigger whenever you want. So those changes, like I say, and I have to say, going from, there we go. So what time is it now? 10 o'clock in the morning. I can jump ahead to 5 o'clock in the morning, right the way through to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I don't have to speed up time until I get to 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, then skip bed. It was a big change. And like I said, having that stark contrast between 17, 19 and 22, all within this stream, gives you a real good indication of the improvement in graphics. The amount of people that still say the graphics are terrible. Thank you, David. First super on the live stream. Thank you very much, man. Very kind of you. Awesome. That's very cool. You can put, you put the little thing number one, that's very kind of you. You can put comments. Carl Anderson, everyone's all over it. Wow. For a Sunday pint. That's very kind of you. You know what, after I've done this, I might have a pint. I haven't had a pint for a while, but I might do. Thank you. I'm going to let you into a little secret now, and this is really weird. It's going to sound really weird. This is so 1980s, I suppose. Is it 80s, 90s? I've become obsessed with pina coladas. We went to, there's a restaurant not far from where we live called Las Iguanas, and I hadn't been there before. My kids go quite a lot. And we went there for dinner for Sealy G's birthday. My brother and all his family, we all went to Las Iguanas. All the family were together. It was brilliant. And it's a kind of Mexican-style restaurant. And it was very, very cool. So America is waking up. That's cool. 367 likes. Keep those likes coming, people. Smash that like button. It's awesome. It helps the algorithm, helps me, helps the channel. I'll do my YouTube thing as well. I haven't done it for a little while during the video. If you are going to pre-order, if you are going to get 525, please consider using my partner code. Obviously, it only works for PC digital download. There is a link there for for retail forwarding as well, and then you can look at whether you want to get the collector's edition, whether you want to what's the word, the year one season pass, the year one bundle, which gives you the 3 DLCs and that kind of stuff. That would be awesome. And obviously the MrSealyp merch, there's a link in the description if you want to pick up some merch, as I've already been sort of showing off every now and again. There's mugs and pint glasses, and there's all the all the cool stuff that way around. There we go. And I showed my hat off. So if you want some merch, that'd be awesome. And like I said, potentially, if I can get Mr. Dark JD to help me, because I'm an old fart and I'm terrible at it. And I had a look, and it was a bit of a minefield, and I thought, I don't know what to do here with regard to tiers. How do I set it up? What do I offer? That kind of thing for channel memberships. I think that is something we are going to do. People have talked about Patreon. Should I do Patreon? Patreon, I think, is more for makers. It's for people that are constructing things, building things. I think, I don't know really, is it? I don't know, but anyway, maybe. My favourite, what is your all-time favourite food? Mrs. Sealyp makes a lasagna, a chorizo lasagna. It is next level. She makes the best Sunday roast, like Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, wherever you're from, I've ever had. Oh, she's just incredible. But her lasagna is up there as one of my favourite things ever. I'm a bit partial to curry. I do like a curry, but yeah, she's just wow. Thank you, Sir Falconer, legend. Cheers for doing that. That's awesome, guys. Thank you. Like I say, anything you can do, jump on that partner thing. That really helps. There's been all sorts of stuff happening over the last week or so, last few days, regarding the partner program, and yeah, anything you guys can do to help out would just be phenomenal, as always. Let me just double check a couple of things here before I carry on. 2,538 views. Awesome. 376 likes. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. You guys are fantastic. Which I'm going to close off that one now. I don't need that. Let's minimize that again. Put it back to there. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people feel, but look, as I was saying, I got kind of the PC. Well, it's the retail forwarding, and you can click on that link, and I think it gives you the option for retail purchasing for console as well. It's a link to take you through to, it sort of disseminates you out into other areas rather than have to go online and search for what you want to go for. Click on that link, and I think it takes you through to options for purchase. Now, unfortunately, something we've been arguing about with Giants and the partner program as a whole is, if you're using any of those links, you should, I'm not saying that I should get a kickback from the sales, but it should be linked to the partner program thing for moving you up the partner program. Because if people are going on using those codes, losing those links, and they're purchasing, whether it's console, PC, whether it's digital download, whether it's hard copy, there should be some metric that gauges how that works and how that affects the partner program, but there isn't at the moment. So it's the partner program is the metric is one very neat, very small thing, and when you consider how many or how much of sales of the game are console, that's not counted in the metric for the partner program, which I think is a bit weird. But anyway, that's just me. Yeah, MrSealyp pieces. Honestly, I can't. Oh, now I'm salivating. Now I can't describe. It's just phenomenal. It's so good. I make a mean chili, not a bad chili. I'm pretty good at that. I don't mind a chili. And I do make a mean chocolate trifle. Pretty awesome. Anyway, James Dodge, thank you very much. Celebrating your first super on live stream. Thank you very much, man. Awesome. Can you see it? I keep putting my thumb up. No, everyone can see it. Thank you very much, man. That's very kind of you. You are cool, all of you. Yeah, if you follow the link in the description, it can take you through. If you've got PC, you can go through and you can pre-order. If it gives you the option to put in the partner code, it's all caps MrSealyp. That should be in the description as well. But anyway. No, that's the thing. You can use the link. Like I say, you can use the retail forwarding. I don't think you can use the partner code if you buy the collector's edition, which I think, again, it's wrong. I don't think that's right. It only works on the PC digital download. Anyway, don't get me started, because this will be part of the stream. Will be the rant section. MrSealyp rants. We don't want that. You were gone? What do you mean I was gone? I was gone where? I've been here the whole time. Thoughts on white chicken chili? I've never had a chicken chili, actually. Probably quite nice, actually. Try that, I guess. So, what I was going to show was... anyway, so, like I said, within this stream, we've seen the 17, 19, and now 22 graphics. For anybody that says the graphics did not improve, I just... No, that's ludicrous. And then, looking at the graphics moving forward, I don't see how that can be in dispute at all. How can it be in dispute? I honestly don't. I don't know. No, unfortunately, the partner code doesn't work for console. It's annoying. It is what it is. All I would suggest is, if any of you feel very strongly about it, jump on the Giants forum, comment, message them, let them know. I don't know, however you want to. Whatever you want to do. But what I was going to do before I do that, so we've kind of looked at all three. We've looked at the seasons on all three. We've looked at, when we didn't look at the animals really, we know the animals, I suppose. We're all au fait. Let's pick, I don't know, let's pick pigs, for example. And like I said, one of the things that was very different was, if we put that in, obviously on 19, you had to supply with water. The animals could die. Now, the animals don't die on 22. I think that's right. I'm right in saying that, aren't I? The animals don't die on 22. That was a big change as well to the seasons thing. And, okay, lost connection. I don't think maybe you did. Okay, I don't think I went here. Hello, hello, hello. Anyway, so if we click on our thing here, so we have different animal types, and we can buy, like I say, you can buy baby animals, but they don't look like babies. So the big jump forward on 25 is going to be you are buying baby animals, because that says age 0 months, gestation 4 months, puberty 6 months. But when you buy it, it looks like any of the other animals. It was a change, it was a difference. What was a big difference as well was that if you bought an animal barn or building, the water is built in. Whereas on the Seasons mods, you had to supply water. And on the 19 mod, you had that water standpipe you could place. Now obviously on 22, you can place them. You can put, there's various different options available. And if you get a pasture, you have to supply with water. But we also had, and I don't know if I've got it installed, what would it be under? Containers? Or no, it might be productions actually. I don't think I've got it installed. And I used it on when I did that greenhouse video. It's the Omatana pack for our open gardens. I haven't got it installed. her open gardens, and it's got that mod. There's a few ones. You can put water in them, or they produce water, and then you can distribute that water out to anywhere that requires it. So as far as animal pens and stuff went, you could do that. So that was a big change. I mean, it was a big thing. So 25 moving forward is it's very cool. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So what I was going to say was, I mean, that's in essence 17, 19, 22. We've looked at the various different seasons options, the mods, the changes over. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, man. Very cool. Awesome. Thank you. It's very, very kind of you. Very, very generous. Hi, Michael. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. So what I was going to talk about now was 25. I mean, what are people feeling? What are people thinking for 25? We've got all the video clips, we've got all the screenshots, we've got so much stuff we could look at. Let me just open that up and go from there to, let's have a look. What have I got available we could have a look at? I mean, I suppose, really, was all of it. If I change that over to that, I mean, let's be honest, the animals and stuff, it's a change. It's a big change. I mean, looking at the level of detail on this stuff, it's going to be impressive. It's going to be very impressive. I mean, the level of graphic detail, the graphics detail, the level of graphic detail. That sounds terrible. That's not what I meant to say. That's not the right one. What have we got? We've got the blog stuff that came out the other day. I've got images. We've got images. I mean, there were so many images. It's absolutely crazy. We had all the weather stuff the other day, didn't we? Let's open that up. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff. So talking about the 25 stuff, I mean, it's just wow. I mean, incredible, really. Let's put... Oh, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. It really is staggering the stuff we're going to be getting. Look at that debris. Wow, what picture was I going to show? Oh, was it a picture or was it the it was one of the little GIFs? This one. Look at the I didn't notice this before. Look at the hail bouncing off the road. I hadn't noticed it. You can see the little movements, the arcs of the hail as it's hitting the road. So the more I zoom in, the less the graphic quality is not great. But you can see the hail bouncing. I mean, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be such a step forward. And I know everyone's saying, oh, it's just fog simulator and, you know, that kind of thing. It's not. It really isn't, is it? Let's be honest. Let's go back to that so I can see my chat again. Yeah, so it's going to be huge, absolutely huge. I don't know what season's going to look like. All I can say is that I really don't know. We haven't. We just know we're getting seasons. We don't know in what capacity. Like I said, as far as I'm aware, Kermit said they think it's going to be very similar. And again, precision farming, don't know. What's that going to look like moving forward? Yeah, it's a good, because the problem was, I mean, Kermit had gone away and done as much research as he can. Like I said, with every interview we've done and seen and heard, Giants can only tell us so much and will only tell us so much because there's more information for them to impart between now and when the game releases. They don't want to give too much away. They don't want to spoil it. They've got a schedule of release of information, the dissemination of that information, and they don't want things getting spoiled. That's why they have been very cross about leaks and things that have come out. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it depends how you feel about it. What's that? Where's Zachary put something? The only major feature I'd like to see come to FS-based game is tire destruction on fields. Narrow tires with lower traction would spin more in loose soil compared. Yeah. So the other comment I saw further down. Giants don't care about us. Really? I mean, productions again. I think we are getting productions. Of course, we're getting productions moving forward. We're still getting them. There's going to be some slightly different ones and tweaked and alternatives, and modders will then take that on board as well with all the different crop types and the new stuff coming. there are going to be new onward products, obviously, because we're going to have different stuff. Because we're going to have goats, and we're going to have, you know, different milk, I guess. Potentially there'll be different things, which again modders have brought us, but they're putting into the base game, which is pretty cool. Love or hate productions, again, it depends what route you're going down. If you've got a particular production in mind, that governs what crop you want to plant and stuff moving forward. Do we want to see crop rotation coming back in? Do we want to see the hay drying thing coming back in? Do we want to see a Wopster type thing come back in? For me personally, I would say yes to all of them. Will we get that? I doubt it. It depends what they want to sort out. Got to keep the hype train rolling. Well, yeah, we have to. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see why. It's difficult at this point to be negative. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that makes me feel particularly negative about stuff. I just let's go to that. Let's do that. And turn that off. We haven't had any mods, have we? Just in case. I don't want that to suddenly go bonkers. I will leave it on. Doesn't matter which one. So I could do. If I still got it on here. Oh no, I can't, because I'll get done for copyright. Yeah, I can't. I was going to put a couple of the trailers up that I've got saved on here, but I can't because I got clobbered for a copyright claim the other day. But actually, we can put that back on there. There we go, like that. I'm finding it hard to be negative with everything that Giants have told us and released and shown us. The game looks fantastic. It looks incredible. The graphics look phenomenal. The stuff they're bringing, the new crop types, the new maps, the weather system, the crop damage. I don't know. Like I say, if there's one particular thing that you personally wanted to see or want to see, if it's very niche, it's unlikely you're going to get it. If that one thing is the one thing that's going to stop you from playing the game, then of course, yeah, I suppose that's going to be what maybe potentially makes a person angry or frustrated, or it might be something they've always wanted to see and it's never happened. But I think the thing you have to ask yourself, and I always do when I'm looking at things, like I say, I have to be honest and say, I would love to see this and this. I would love to see irrigation play a bigger role. Will it? I don't know. It would be cool. Giants don't want to bog people down. They don't want to make it too complicated. They don't want to make it too difficult for new players coming in. I think a lot of these things could be implemented with an on and off switch. So again, if you want to go full immersion or add all these things, go for it. There should be a base level you come in at. If you're a new gamer, this is the game, play it. And then as you get better, you can start toggling those things on and off and trying things. I don't see any reason why that's not a feasible thing, why that's not a doable thing for most people. I don't know. They're trying to sell to a broad market. Of course they are. The thing with the Asian market, and being completely honest about how I feel about it, people say you're a shield for Giants. Why are they bringing out an Asian map? We're getting rice, we're getting an Asian map, we're getting water buffalo, because they're trying to crack the Asian game market. They're releasing and showing all that information, all that stuff on the new Asian map at the Tokyo Game Show. Giants have never done the Tokyo Game Show before. Cracking the Asian market is massive for the company, for the game as a whole. It is huge, because that Asian market is very much a mobile governed market. There are a lot of other big games, a lot of anime stuff, a lot of manga stuff, a lot of that kind of, those types of games. They're trying to crack it. That's why there's an Asian map. It's very cynical, but it's true, because at the end of the day, Giants are a company. They're a business. They're trying to earn money. They're trying to balance everything. Are they going to please everyone all the time? No, of course they're not. Thank you, Cat Cracker. Very kind of you. Cheers. Very generous of you, thank you. Who says you have to find a negative? Don't worry, be happy. I agree, you don't have to. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. And I think, like I say, anybody that gets cross and says we should have this in game, you have to just be honest and stop and say to yourself, okay, if we haven't got it in game and we're not going to get it in game, why aren't we getting it in game? People's initial reaction is because Giants hate us, because Giants don't like us, because Giants don't care about us. you have to look at it from a business standpoint, you have to look at it from a gaming standpoint, look at it from a general, will this be something that everyone would want to, it's just a case of just being honest with yourself, I guess, really. Anyway, the only things I've started to dislike is that we can't set our own lines with GPS. I'm not a big fan of grass texture. Right, and that's the thing. GPS was a massive thing. When Giants announced we're getting GPS, we're not getting GPS. Of course we're not. We are getting a facsimile, the same with Seasons, of GPS. The full GPS mod, and I've never used it, I don't play on PC, is something you can set, you can program, like you would do in the real world. You map your field, you set your plots, you do all what you're going to do, and off you go. Again, the GPS system had to be something that could be easily accessible, could be controlled, could be governed, could be added in to add some immersion. In essence, the GPS and the AI system is the same thing on FS25. The mapping for the fields is done exactly the same way, and it is preset. It's there on all the fields. You extend a field, make a new field. If map makers make a field, it will automatically pre-populate that, and it will allow, so if you hire a worker, it will follow the same route as if you do GPS. The difference being, you can hire a worker will go off and do it. If you're using GPS, you stay in the vehicle because you're operating the GPS. You switch it on and off. You get that beep. It finds the line. It will follow the line. I think it's up to you to raise and lower your implement when you do your turns and that kind of stuff. It adds that immersion that you are using GPS, but it's not the full-blown GPS, I know. And I know a lot of people are cross with that. But I would also argue that potentially, I guess modders will still do this, the GPS mod. You will still get a full-blown GPS, I would assume. How that would interact with the one that's already in place, I don't know. How modders and map makers will integrate that, I don't know. Like I say, I'm not sure. I'm not a modder, I'm not a map maker. I'm just going on stuff, information received. GPS won't work on roads, but as far as I know, the AI system that we have in place now in-game, if map makers set up an AI route system on the roads, you can still do what you do now. And it's something I don't utilise anywhere near enough. I will still go backwards and forwards and bring equipment and machinery. I often forget that you can just hire a worker, set a route, set a destination, and the same when you're harvesting on your own, to set a vehicle to come and unload, take it, offload and come back. I always forget. I forget to do that. That is, that is technically a GPS system. But again, those tracks are already laid out. They're already on the map. As far as I know, that will still be moving forward. But I don't see any reason why not. I think they're going to alienate players because some of us don't have the money to upgrade our systems. And this is something, and I got in a lot of trouble. Some people got very angry with me for saying it, but it is a truth. It is an unhappy, unfortunate truth that there was no way any game company will maintain supporting an older gen console for as long as they have and did. I'm surprised Giants stuck out as long as they did, supporting the older gen and the newer gen. And when I say newer gen, PlayStation 5 is now 5 years old. It's not a new gen console anymore. It's a newer gen console than the older ones. But to push the consoles as far as they want to and need to, they had to drop off the older gen consoles. And I know that's annoyed a lot of people. And it's not cheap to buy new ones. It really isn't. My PS5, my one, I did mine in installments. I've added mine onto my phone plan, and I pay monthly. I couldn't go out and just buy one. I totally understand it. But again, there's that thing of it was never going to last forever. Money's tight. It's getting tighter. Things are getting worse. It's very, very difficult to justify a purchase like that when you've got to put food on the table and you've got to pay your bills. I totally understand it. They're not trying to alienate anyone. They're just, at the end of the day, again, like I said, they're a business. And like I say, this was really the first time I remember where and it's happened. When I went from PS1 to PS2, everything I owned on PS1 was no longer, it was redundant, it was useless. Every game I'd ever bought, that I just said, if you could sell it, great, but you had to buy the new console, then re-buy all the games or buy all the new versions. Same from PS2 to PS3, PS3 to PS4. That backwards compatibility wasn't always there, and that was a thing. That was just, you accepted you had to do that. It wasn't always easy, and unfortunately we're back at that point now. So it's a difficult one. Can you play FS25 on the Wii? I saw the message first, and then suddenly saw the person. No. Yeah, David, that's I mean, that's, like I said, you've got to be nice, you've got to be understanding, you know. I had this once before. I said about something, I was talking about years and years ago when we were much younger, my wife and I, and we didn't have particularly good jobs, and we had just started our family, and we didn't have a lot of money, and, you know, and I said this, you know, we would go shopping with a calculator, because we knew how much we had in our budget, and we could buy what we had within our budget. And it was that thing of, you had your main stuff you had to buy, and if you had luxuries on top of that, you had to work out if you could afford it. And I mentioned that in a video. I was just chatting away, and someone put in the comments, you should have got a better job then. It's like, really? That's the response? That's the comment? I don't find that sort of thing helpful. But again, it's the same with PCs. PCs move forward so fast. You know, I tried to, when I got my PC, and my PC's now 4-5 years old, if not longer. We tried to future-proof it by upgrading it extensively when I bought it. Again, that was installments, payments. I couldn't buy it outright. I probably need a new PC, but I'm not going to get one. I can't afford one. I can't build one. I don't know how to. Wouldn't know where to start. But components are expensive. It's, you know, it's one of those things. It's yeah, that's what people are saying. You know, it's a difficult one. You just have to you have to work out what works best for you, and what works for you won't necessarily work for the next person. And, you know, for everyone that can just go out and buy a new console or a new PC like that, that's great, that's fantastic. But there are a lot of people that can't. You know, it's this is not where I thought this was going to go today. It's got very deep and very, you know, I suppose we'll still talk about FS25 and where it's going and that kind of thing. But yeah, we've looked at do you ever see Dagwin in public at these Giants events? No. He does get invited. Diz Travellers in the house. Did I miss you earlier, Diz? Sorry if I did. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, he gets invited to a lot of the events, but he's a very shy person. You know, you very rarely see his face. I think on his second channel, once or twice you might have done. I don't think he likes to travel. I'm sure someone said doesn't like to fly or doesn't like to travel. Might be fly. He gets invited to FarmCon and all those kind of things. When we did Llama last January, we did the community meet and greet, somebody said that Dagwin was at Llama, but because no one knows what he looks like really, so no one's going to walk up to him and stop him and ask for his autograph, because it's difficult to know, you know, unless you've really studied him, and that's a bit stalkerish. Apparently he was there, but he never made himself known. I would love to meet him. I absolutely love to meet him. He is, when people say you're the reason I started my channel, he's one of the reasons I started mine. I loved watching his stuff. I just binged watched everything he did, you know. And it gets harder and harder, because when you're making your own content and you're working hard and you're putting up stuff and you're prepping and recording and editing, and I don't have as much time to watch as many content creators as I used to. And it's that busman's holiday thing as well, of if I've been playing and recording Farming Simulator all day up to whatever time in the evening I'm doing it, do I then want to go indoors, have my dinner and watch more Farming Simulator, or do I want to watch something else, or a series, or, you know, other content creators? You know, it depends how you want to look at it. It is good to talk. You're absolutely right. Just woke up here 10:43 a.m. Nice lie-in, Diz. Well, it depends what time you work to. You know, it's always, again, very easy to judge when you see a snippet of a conversation. But it might be you work nights or twilights or something like that. So, or you're just lazy. I don't know, Diz. It depends. But anyway, I think that's it. We had a look at the seasons. We had a talk. I live streamed. Again, hopefully it won't be as long to the next live stream. I have got a walk and talk planned. Slightly different and interesting. I think it's interesting. I kind of follow my nostalgia thing at the moment. I might do that this week sometime, depending on the weather, potentially. Hi, how's you, MrSealyp? I'm alright. I'm good. Not too bad. Farm Sim Guy. Thanks for joining us, bud. How are you? I believe if you're passionate about the game, you want as many people as possible to have the opportunity to play it and enjoy it. I'm having a good day. It's not bad. The stream's been going well. We put some stuff up. We've had a look at seasons. We've been having a great old time. It's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time to drop in, mate. It's absolutely fantastic. We've just been talking about FS25, and because we've been looking at seasons on 17, 19, 22, what we think it's going to be like, what we'd like to see on 25, but also the realism, the realistic expectations of what we'd like to see versus what we're likely to see. Does that make sense? And I think there's a big difference between the two. What we'd like to see is that hopes and dreams. What we're likely to see is more in line with what fits a larger, wider profile. But at the end of the day, what we get is what we get. It will change massively if they do another 3-year cycle. If you think about that, when 25 drops, potentially another 3-year cycle, where the game will be after 3 years from where it starts. You look at 22. When 22 started, it was not without its problems. When all of us were doing our videos and our live streams and stuff when the game came out, there were problems, there were issues. The mod hub kept crashing. Every time I tried to do a mod review, nothing would work. It wasn't harvesting properly. Wheat wasn't doing what it should be doing. There were so many things, and it took a while to get updates. We got our first mod started coming out, and if you look at the start of 22 to 22 now, it's like a different game. It's just, anyway. You are more than welcome. Thank you, everyone who has joined me today. Thank you. The new weather looking at some of the screenshots and the pictures and the videos and all the Gamescom stuff and all the things that have come out. And the weather alone, even if you don't take into account the damage, and it looks incredible. And it will add that immersion, it just... So you're up till 3 AM watching my videos, and you've woken up late because of that to watch me live. That's awesome. So thank you again. Like I say, the Farm Sim guy, Yossi's biggest fan. Thank you to everyone that's joined, everyone that's dropped in, all the content creators, map makers, modders, all you guys, all you supporters, fans. Like I said, I am looking at channel memberships. I know a lot of people have mentioned it today, and people mentioned it in the last live stream. I'm sure when I do the next live stream, I still won't have done it, but we are looking at it as an option, potentially sooner rather than later. I'm just going to open up my just this so I can see one more time. We end up with, so far, 2,824 views total, 404 likes. I'm sure that will need to sort of reset itself. And I've had a blast. It's been lovely interacting and chatting, as it always is when we do these things. Bit of information, having a look at stuff, looking at the graphic quality and the graphic changes between 17, 19, 22. We've seen all the pictures and images, all the videos. There's lots of people putting out lots of content, showing you all this stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. And oh no. So Farmer Foliage just dropped. Anybody that's just dropped in now, I'm just about to end. I'm so sorry. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter at what point you stop. There's going to be somebody that's just joined. It will go live. When's my next live stream? Not sure. I'm going to do a walk and talk, which will be live. That may be sometime in the week, hopefully, depending on weather. Next live stream, I don't know. Again, it will depend on the days. It depends as well, because mods have been very spotty from Giants at the moment, and stuff coming out. So it's just a case of trying to make content. And obviously, my new FS22 Let's Play will be starting possibly tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do the first one of those. So I don't know. But I'll try to do more. Like I say, it's been nearly a month since my last one. And when you think last month I did 4, I think. So I need to do them more often. So... thank you very much, Henk. Thank you, everyone. I keep saying thank you, and then I do have membership icons on Discord. Thank you, Neil. And then it's also that. Thank you, Daryl. That's very kind of you. Chuck that in there on the end. Cheers, mate. I hope you all stay well. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Sorry, like I say, if you've all just joined, I am so sorry. I can't stream because I was streaming for another hour because new people have just joined, and I just thought, oh, let's play the game, let's just do something, let's do whatever. And then what will happen is then new people join, and I'll just keep on going. So anyway, yeah, if you haven't watched any of my FS25 stuff that's been released, go and check out all the stuff. It's all there. There's all the Let's Plays. I think I've got one Let's Play for FS25 information sharing. That would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being awesome as always. You guys are one of the reasons I keep doing it. Like I said, people think, I mean, maybe some of the YouTubers do. YouTubers do it to make money. They want to make money. They want to be a YouTuber. I started doing this because I wanted to share information. I started doing this because if I was unsure about something, maybe I could help someone else out understand how something worked or looked, or I like to share information. Giants don't send me stuff, and I don't hoard it. I don't sit there going, oh, I've got all the information. I just want to share it. As FSG said, we want everyone to be passionate. We want people to enjoy it. We want people to be excited. So when we get stuff, we want to get it out there. We want people to be buzzing. That doesn't make us shills. It just makes us excited and passionate. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then of course, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.